Here.
Ms. Klein?
Here.
Ms. Enlow?
Here.
Mr. Hibbard?
Here.
Ms. Huffman?
Here.
Mr. Newton?
Here.
Thank you. Before we get started, any service members here, any veterans here, any first responders, if you would stand so we can applaud you, please. Thank you for your service, and God bless you. Okay. All right, we need approval of the minutes, approve March 14th, regular meeting minutes, entertain motion.
Motion. Second.
Okay, Lisa Carter, Stacy Klein, second. Those in favor, signal with your hand. Okay, 6-0. Moving along, new business. A, first reading public hearing ordinance 022048.
Ordinance number 022-048, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City zoning order and Bullitt County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of 9.874 acres, more or less, located at 200 Coy Way in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 028-000-00-025, from agricultural R1 residential and R3 residential to R1 residential. Whereas the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a hearing on March 10th, 2022, and based upon the testimony offered in that hearing, found that such change is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan and has recommended that the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map be amended to change the zoning of 9.874 acres located at 200 Coy Way in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 028-000-00-025, from agricultural R1 residential and R3 residential to R1 residential. And whereas the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky approves said recommendation. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky. Section 1. The Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map are hereby amended to change the zoning of 9.874 acres located at 200 Coy Way in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 028-000-00-025, from agricultural R1 residential and R3 residential to R1 residential. Section 2. This ordinance shall take effect upon publication. Section 3. Should any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the same shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Section 4. Parts of any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance or any part of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky on the 28th day of March 2022, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky on the 11th day of April 2022.
Thank you. Now, this is a public hearing, so is there any favorable or unfavorable statements for this hearing? Does everybody here want to comment on this?
Did anybody sign up for this one?
Let me see.
No.
Okay. Any comments from the council? Okay. All right. Next, B, first reading and public hearing, ordinance 022049.
Ordinance number 022-049, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City zoning order and Bullitt County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of .70 acres, more or less, located at 1896 Highway 44 East in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045-W00-07-012, from R1 residential to B2 central business. Whereas the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a hearing on March 10th, 2022, and based upon the testimony offered in that hearing, found that such change is not in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan, but that there have been changes of a social, physical, and economic nature to the area, including increased business presence, and has recommended that the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map be amended to change the zoning of .70 acres located at 1896 Highway 44 East in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045-W00-07-012, from R1 residential to B2 central business, and whereas the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky approves said recommendation. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1. The Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map are hereby amended to change the zoning of .70 acres located at 1896 Highway 44 East in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045-W00-07-012, from R1 residential to B2 central business. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon publication. Section 3, should any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the same shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Section 4, parts of any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance or any part of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 28th day of March 2022, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 11th day of April 2022.
Thank you. This also is the first reading and public hearing on this. So is there any comments on this? Once again, it's 1896 Highway 44 East. Both these two have been favorable from planning and zoning. Any comments from the council? Okay, next, old business. Second reading and public hearing for ordinance 022044.
Ordinance 022-044, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City zoning order and Bullitt County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of 43.79 acres more or less, located at South Lakeview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00-004A and 045-SWP-01-005 and 046-000-000-001 from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. Whereas the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a hearing on March 2nd, 2022, and based upon the testimony offered in that hearing, recommended that the zone change application be denied. And whereas the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, has held its own public hearing and has made its own findings of fact attached hereto as Exhibit A, and overrides the recommendation of the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission and approves the requested zone change. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1, the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map are hereby amended to change the zoning of 43.79 acres more or less, located at South Lakeview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00-004A and 045-SWP-01-005 and 046-000-00-001 from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon publication. Section 3, should any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the same shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Section 4, parts of any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance or any part of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Given first reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 14th day of March 2022, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 28th day of March 2022. And Mayor, the one thing that I will add is because this application received an unfavorable recommendation from the Planning Commission, if the council does want to vote to approve, you will have to make your own findings of fact. That's why that's referenced in the ordinance. So that's something that would have to be, come up with that tonight, and then I can draft that in typed form if the council chooses to approve the zoning.
Okay, first, we'll start with Eric
And
Ferris.
I believe Mr. Ferris needs 15 minutes to present.
I'd like to request that initially. The other thing, if I may, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council, is this project involves two tracks. Essentially, it's one project based upon two tracks to be rezoned, both currently zoned B1 and seeking to be zoned light industrial. For the sake of time, we were going to address all of this at one time, and I don't know from your procedural standpoint if you want to re-vote at the beginning or not.
Yes, and Mr. Ferris, we had a conversation about this, and I recall it right now.
Okay.
Yes, Mayor, and that's perfectly fine if you all want to have just the one public hearing. It's on two adjacent, or a number of adjacent parcels. That way, the folks only have to testify, or only have to speak once. Mayor, if you want, I would recommend that I do go ahead and do the reading of the next ordinance as well then. That way, it's clear what all we're talking about, if that's okay. That's what I would
Then-
recommend.
Yeah, then let's do that then.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, let me open this.
So,
real quick.
y'all, what on your agenda out there, reference old business B? Okay, go ahead and read that,
Yeah.
because I believe all these sign-in signatures are for both of them.
And I think we would have probably the exact same hearing twice if we didn't do it this way, yeah. Okay, ordinance number 022-045, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of 7.50 acres, more or less, located at tracks 1 through 6 on South Lakeview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045-SWP-02-001 and 045-SWP-02-036 and 045-SWP-02-037 and 045-SWP-02-036A and 045-SWP-02-035A from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. Whereas the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a hearing on March 2nd, 2022, and based upon the testimony offered in that hearing, recommended that the zone change application be denied. And whereas the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, has held its own public hearing and has made its own findings of fact attached hereto as Exhibit A, and overrides the recommendation of the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission and approves the requested zone change. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky. Section 1. The Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map are hereby amended to change the zoning of 7.50 acres, more or less, located at tracks 1 through 6 on South Lakeview Drive in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 045-SWP-02-001 and 045-SWP-02-036 and 045-SWP-02-037 and 045-SWP-02-036A and 045-SWP-02-035A from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon publication. Section 3, should any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the same shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Section 4, parts of any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance or any part of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Given first reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 14th day of March 2022, to be given second reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 28th day of March 2022.
Thank you, Tammy. Okay, if you want to go forward with Eric.
Thank you all very much. I'm pleased to be here on behalf of Steve Poe, who has the proposal that is before you. Mr. Poe is seated here immediately to my right. Next to him is Diane Zimmerman, who is a engineer who performs traffic studies as a career. And she has done a exhaustive study on this site and the various uses of it, and you'll be hearing from her. To her right is Hank Hillebrand, who's Director of Development with Mr. Poe. And then to his right, Ann Richard, who is the Planning Department Manager with Land Design and Development, the engineering firm that is responsible for all of the designs we'll be showing you. And also here behind Ms. Zimmerman is Eric Sen, who is one of the principals and is an engineer at Land Design and Development. The property we are talking about, I think you all are very familiar with. In fact, just to be clear, and folks, I just want to say, we handed out some extra copies of these same exhibits that turn toward the city. There's nothing the city is seeing that I haven't also provided. If you'll share those around a little bit. Excuse me. And so this is not meant as a snub to you, and I apologize, but these larger exhibits are going to be a little easier for us to point to as we go forward. This property, the 43-acre tract, is the one surrounded in yellow on this middle exhibit. The one that is the smaller 7-acre tract is surrounded in the red here. And what we are discussing is the rezoning of both of these tracts to light industrial with the ability to then establish a roadway that is this pink dotted line, a new roadway favorable recommendation. We think that when we are through here, you'll see why that was incorrect, and why we think you will want to follow the project plan that we are recommending as opposed to the existing zoning. I'm going to invite Mr. Poe up, but as I do, I want you to keep in mind, this property that we're talking about tonight is already zoned B1. And those of you that have been around for a while know that many uses that are currently possible in that zone right now without anything further than a site plan and pulling permits. In addition, there is already zoned and adjacent to Centerview Drive, a set of apartment complexes, not yet constructed, but approved for 177 units. So all of the calculations that you're going to see and hear about involve what's currently on the ground, approved, ready to go, regardless of the council's actions here tonight. Mr. Poe, if you would join us and let's talk about your concept and your thoughts going forward.
Mr. Ferris, real quick, we'll need to have him sworn, and then if you have
Yeah.
any other folks who you want to have sworn, we can do that all right now.
Yeah, let's, I don't know, I think basically it'll be these folks that are standing right here, if anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody raise your right hands. Okay. I'm trying to see you over there. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Proceed, please.
Okay. So, I think what you're gonna hear tonight, that this plan, either plan, it's all about the traffic. And certainly during the planning commission meeting, what we heard was pretty much it's all about the traffic. And actually, our company, when we first looked at this site, it was all about the traffic. And in fact, the first time we looked at it with the property owners, we passed on doing something. Because we said that there was just no way to get the traffic in and out of this site because of all the congestion on 44 and the way the turning or the entrances were set up. 3 or 4 months after we passed, the landowner called us back and said, what would it take for you guys to actually do this? And I said, well, we would have to figure out a way to get a new road connected to 44 and a light. That's the only way that this is going to work. So they said, well, we think we can make that happen. We control part of the land. We'll give an easement on that part. We know the other landowner, and they're willing to sell if you're willing to buy. So we put together all of this land and created the ability to get out to right here. We then met with all of the adjoining landowners there, 5-star. Eric met with the school board. We met with other landowners on the other side and said, hey, what do you think if we put a light here? Does it work for everybody? And everybody was thrilled at that concept. So we set out on figuring out a plan to put on this site. And we actually designed the plan about traffic, okay? So the first thing is developers hate zoning changes, right? I don't like to be here doing this. I'd rather just lay down a piece of property and go. But we took a look at what we could do on the property as is, and this was a concept plan we came up with. And we have now refined that concept plan because we're in the assumption this is probably the plan we're gonna have to use, right? This was a 160,000 square foot home improvement store, 3 restaurants, and a grocery store or something else like that, okay? That generates a lot of traffic. We then made 2 mistakes. First mistake was we did not, and we made that decision on traffic based on the community at large. The mistake we made was we didn't set up a public meeting where we talked informally and casually with these neighbors, okay? Because if you take a look at this traffic study, and we had this traffic study, which would you rather have? A development where you've already got traffic problems, a development that creates 97 trips at AM peak hours and 100 trips at PM peak hours, or one at AM that creates 874 and at PM creates 1,419. 14 times more traffic for the retail development, which is my understanding, I'll let Eric address it. We can come in tomorrow, lay down and say this is what we want to do, and we don't have any public hearings, we have to get through all the process, well, we're correctly zoned. And that's maybe where we end up. But we thought, in general, the logistics would be more acceptable. We're still putting the light in. And, you know, logistics people don't like traffic, right? They try to steer their trucks away from prime time traffic times and bring them in and out during the times there's not much traffic going on. I know in a facility we built for Amazon in Louisville, their trucks don't start delivery till 9 a.m. in the morning because they just want to stay out of that mess. So for us, this is a question of, are we gonna build plan A or plan B? It's not like, if this one's turned down, we're building nothing on that site. There's definitely gonna be something on that site. We spent the time since the rezoning hearing, working with retail brokers, and we think there's a significant demand for a pretty good-sized home improvement store at this site. We also think that there's a lot of demand for, especially people coming from the south and down the south ramp. There aren't any restaurants really on the east side of 65, so with this visibility, being able to see 4 restaurants, I think we'll have a lot of traffic coming up and going there. So Eric's gonna talk about the plan we're here about tonight. What we wanted to do was make sure everybody understood the alternatives. So we should have conveyed all of that to the neighbors, plan A or B, before we ever got to the planning commission. The second mistake we made is when we went to the planning commission, we didn't bring all of the experts, fact people, where we could sit here and say, these are the facts. Now, you may not agree with them, you may not like them, but this is gonna create this much traffic, and this is gonna create this much traffic. So it's about traffic. Take a look at these facts and see what you think. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so what we've provided here is the proposed example of layout of what can happen right now under B1 zoning. As Steve mentioned, it could easily be a home improvement store, and it could easily be perhaps a grocery, restaurants. Any of those are currently zoned, fall within that category of B1, and all we have to do is to put in the site plan, drainage plan, which requires administrative approvals only, and go forward. This plan would instead have smaller industrial structures, and when I say smaller, this is not compared to what you're used to seeing in Shepherdsville going out down on Highway 480, or even some are along 245. These are smaller, and what the addition of this red outline track did, as Steve advised, it was a new part of this project to enable a better access point. So I'm going to give you yet another couple of views on this, and you'll see on Exhibit 1 that's in front of you all, the proposed plan right here. Number 2 is the plan as matters stand right now. 3 is this traffic count. I'm going to call Diane Zimmerman up. Diane, as I mentioned before, is an engineer by trade, and I am going to pass out, ask once again, Ronnie, thank you for starting that out. These are her credentials, and I'm going to ask her to tell us, first of all, how is the traffic study performed? What did you do?
Touch that mic and turn it green right there.
Very front of it.
See,
There you go. It's on.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good evening, Diane Zimmerman. A traffic impact study is completed by making an actual count at the intersections going to be studied. In this case, these intersections were counted in August of 2021. Then an identification of other developments in the area or what the growth of the traffic would be is added to that to create what is called the no-build scenario. And then finally, the traffic that would be generated by the development is added to it, and an analysis is performed of the impacted intersections to determine what the difference between the no-build and the build condition are, and then ultimately what improvements are needed as a result of the development. what is needed on the street system to accommodate the traffic that is generated.
And did your count include the approved 177-unit apartment complex as part of the study?
I have revised the study so that it does now include those 177 units, yes.
And does your most recent study, it's a 64-page study, I believe.
Yes.
And there's a copy of it laying up here on this coffin. That also included the count based upon historical and expert accumulation of records as to what a retail center such as is proposed would generate in the way of traffic.
That has not been included in the study, but I did an analysis where I
Gotcha.
did the calculations if this was retail to come up with the numbers that
Okay.
are on the chart.
So, and that's based upon your experience.
The Institute of Transportation Engineers publishes a trip generation manual. We're on the 11th edition of that manual. It has a wide variety. It's a three-volume document of about 300 pages apiece, where it accumulates this data, and it's based on actual traffic counts made at these types of retail or warehouse facilities all over the United States. There's generally 50 to 100 data points within each land use.
Okay, and if you've also been able to take the proposed count based upon peak morning, peak afternoon time for what the proposed project that we would like to see, the light industrial zone with smaller
Correct.
building uses and traffic, right?
That is
Okay.
correct, yes.
Based on the same historical
Yes,
analysis
yes.
and data. All right, so based upon all of this, when you put it together, using the outlet proposed, did it warrant a traffic signal at that? And if so, what is that based upon, please?
It did meet the warrants for a traffic signal. The requirements that the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet uses is that you must have enough volume for 8 hours, any 8 hours of the day. Doesn't have to be consecutive, but it has to be at least 8 hours. And the assumption was that during the peak hours, 100% of this traffic from this development and the others that would be have access to the road would use the signal to make the left turn. In the off-peak hours, maybe only 50% of that traffic will do that, but nonetheless, all of that comes together that we meet the warrant for 9 hours. So it would be sufficient volume to install the traffic signal that would meet their requirements.
I know some have reached out to Transportation Cabinet, Mr. Kenny Carrico, who I think reviews these plans.
Correct.
And so forth, but you have been in regular contact with him about this,
Yes,
as you always are.
Yes.
Projects, I believe, right?
correct.
Okay. Are you in the best position, well, let me ask you first.
15 minutes is up.
Can you acknowledge that these AM peak and PM peak hour counts are indeed accurate?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
that you do adopt those?
Yes.
And are you in the best position, or would Ann or Eric be in a better position about the road, where the light would empty onto the roadway and the lanes?
It might be a little better to have Eric or Ian
Okay.
address the intersection
All right.
design.
I
And
did
she'll
have
be available to answer a question. I want to show you this last two exhibits real quick. Three. Eric, if you'll step up here and explain, there was question last time about the number of lanes available to be able to accommodate a turn into the development that's proposed at this location, and whether or not there's still room for a turn lane in the middle. Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, we worked with the highway department to determine the best striping for this intersection. What we determined was there would be a through lane on the, I guess, going out 44. Then there will also be a right in and a left in into the school. Then come in the other direction, there will be a, like I said, a through lane. But then there will also be a left into the site as well as a through and right into the school.
All right, and this is a closer view of that. We're about to lose our. Is this a more zoomed view in Exhibit 6?
17 minutes. Yeah, you can see it better with the striping.
Hold on, hey, who said that? Who said that? I'm going to have to leave. You need to leave the building.
Make it fair to everybody.
You don't have to
I'll wind up in just a second.
go.
The zoomed-in version, you can see it better.
Yeah.
And in addition, coming out, you will also see there's a through to the school property as well as a right in.
And finally, is there a turn lane extended in far enough to where Centerview could take advantage of traffic being stopped? I'm sorry, I'm blocking you. Where the traffic is stopped at the light, that people at Centerview would be able to turn out and hold into the turn lane until they could merge to go westbound.
Yeah, there should be physical capacity for stacking here at that light that we with. And then as well as if there's a through, so we might take it on the left into this property, we have a dedicated turn lane.
Okay. All right, thank you. Last thing I wanted to do is to reiterate that we did in fact work, we met with several folks here, the council, the mayor, engineer, and we appreciate that opportunity when we first started all this. I'm gonna provide you with the email of support from Mr. Larry Craig, who has Craig and Landry Auto. In addition, I'm going to provide you with the letter of support from the Bullitt County Public School System Superintendent. And finally, as Ms. Baker indicated, to overturn the recommendation of the Planning Commission, which we believe is consistent with the comprehensive plan here, based upon the information we've provided you and with the facts as we've provided. I have prepared findings of fact that in fact reference some of this testimony and also reference the comprehensive plan statement front and back so that you know. And I would ask if and hopefully when you choose to overturn that recommendation and to rezone this light industrial to reduce the traffic, you would incorporate these findings into your motion, which would then suffice to justify them. We stand ready to answer questions from the council and appreciate your all's patience.
Thank you, sir.
Got a question.
Hold on just a second, Mike. For the record, that was 18 and a half minutes they was talking. And then, to be fair, I'm not on either side. I'm not even allowed to vote on this legislation, this zoning. But yet they had 6 people. 3 times 6 is 18. So that's, so I'm gonna be fair to everybody here. Always need to be fair. And that's why, they spoke over his 15 minutes, sir. Okay,
I had a question
go
for
ahead.
Ms. Zimmer.
Sorry, Mike.
When did you do your revised study?
The revised study is dated March 25th, 2022. The original one was dated October 5th, 21,
21?
yes.
Are you the one who did the original study for the new apartments?
No, I did not do a study for the apartments.
And when you did all this and it says that we're eligible for a light, have you actually talked to District 5 about the probability of us even getting this light?
Yes,
And what was their response?
that it met their requirements.
Meeting requirements and a yes is 2 totally different things from District 5.
Well, it's a matter of who's willing to pay for the signal, and it still requires one more level of review before they would confirm that they are,
We were
would
turned
approve it.
down, we were turned down for a light close to where this is at.
It takes this volume of traffic from one of the side streets to meet it, and the school by itself would not meet the requirements to install a traffic signal.
It also, the distance from the light
Yes.
for the exit plays a part.
Yes, it has to be at least 800 feet from the traffic signal at I-65 branch.
Okay, how far is this one?
It's about 14, I don't remember right now,
About 1,400?
1,400, 1,000, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400. That was
Okay.
the first thing I asked this team when they called me was, what's the spacing? It's an uphill battle if you're less than 800 feet.
Okay. Lisa?
Do any of you all live in the city of Shepherdsville and the city limits? So you guys have never actually physically been out here at morning rush hour or afternoon rush hour? personally invite any and all of you all to come out here with every one of these citizens and drive that road, especially the residents that live on Centerview Drive,
a
Jackie
nightmare.
Way. You will take 20 to 25 minutes at times to get out of that street.
The light will fix that.
There is no 100% guarantee that a light is gonna be at that location. I have spoke with the highway department. They say the road needs to be completely reconstructed there. Until that's done, I don't agree that this can happen because of the volume of traffic. We have an elementary school there. Our kids can't even walk to school these days.
I also say I don't want all those tractor trailers around our kids coming in and out of that school either.
Did you want me to address that? Because Mr. Poe has, and his team have actually come out here to experience that traffic, because that's why they turned down the project to begin with. So it wasn't until it could be resolved through this new located light that it was deemed even worth a project could even survive. Because, and again, it's whether or not, you know, trucks are, there's going to be delivery trucks, there's going to be some sort of truck and commuter retail traffic that is going to be going on back there, plus the 177 times 2 residents who are going to be back there. So what we're just giving you the option is how much volume do you want? And there will be volume. It's just how much volume. This is a reduced volume. So with that, if there's no more questions, we'll wait until after others have gotten a chance.
Okay, so any more questions for you? In the council? Okay, let's go with our sign-in speakers.
You have one over here, sir.
Have you signed in?
sign-in speakers.
These are sign-in speakers.
Well, you go down the
Could we move some of those forward so that we might be able to see? I can't see any of the folks. I don't know if you are having trouble seeing.
Yeah, I
the folks.
can't see.
So if we can kind of spread those out.
Okay,
That-
so,
No,
That's fine.
just the posters.
if we can see how many folks are excited to speak on this one, I can swear, we're doing a public hearing, so I have to swear them, but we can do that at one time.
okay.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So, let me see, what we'll do, we're gonna swear these in at the same time, so Trina Summers, can you?
Stand
you wanna
up.
stand and raise your.
Just stay where you are.
Yeah, just stand where you are, right. Well, you're gonna be the first one, so come on up if you would. And then, Jeremy Reimer, Jeremy, there's Jeremy. Okay, stay right there, and then, Joe Kaufman, I mean, yeah. Billy Young, so about Lakeview, right there. Okay, then you had the 6 for Eric. Christie, where's Christie? Okay, stand right there for a second, please. Herb Hicks, are you speaking on the?
He's the gentleman that left.
Oh, well,
Can he come back?
now, if he's still out there, tell him he can come back in.
You have
Everybody
no
say-
right to send him out to bid again.
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of authority. You're not voting.
Okay, yeah, call him back in, bro. Okay, Harry Cook, are you speaking on the, no, you're not gonna speak on that. Okay, David, Mr. Strange, David, are you gonna speak on the, okay, stand up. Rebecca Johnson, Ms. Johnson. And then, let me see, who's this on metal, 260 metal? Frank, stand up, Mr. Kramer. You gonna speak on this? Stand up and let's swear you in so to speak.
Well, I don't swear to God, but I'll give you my honest word.
Okay, hang on. Okay, and then Marita Cogburn? Okay, will you stand up? Okay. Wayne Downey? Stand up, please, okay. Steve Phelps, or Steve, let me speak. Saul Lacosco, okay, guy? Okay.
We're waiting on the other gentleman to come back in,
See, is he back yet? Okay, and then Tamara Lakes, are you gonna speak on this?
Not on this one, on a later one.
Or later, okay, then you don't have to be sworn in.
Okay, he's back.
you back?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
back.
We're gonna swear you in a minute, with everybody else. Then Dwayne Price, is he here? Okay, you gonna speak on this? Okay, hand it to me.
Mayor, he said he wasn't here to speak on this specific one.
Oh, you're not? Okay, all right, fine.
I'm gonna speak, I wanna speak, I signed in, but it's not on.
Okay, well, I'll call
We
you.
can handle it when the next case is
I have
called.
a question.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can add you to the list though, if you, to address the council or the group, you'll have to sign in and come up here and be part of that.
He signed in for something else. He wants to comment on this too.
So you're gonna speak
But I
twice.
just have, since the presentation was given, I have a question.
Okay, all right.
We'll call you twice then, okay? Everybody who's gonna testify on this one, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, Ms. Trina Summers.
Okay. Good evening. First, I would like to offer my condolences to the Shepherdsville Police Department and the city of Shepherdsville on the loss of their K-9 officer, Dash. It's a tragedy. I would like to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. Ms. Ferris, again, thank you and your clients for wanting to invest in our community. I am here to ask that you accept both the unfavorable recommendations for the rezoning of this property. When considering cases like this, it is important to consider what the development has to offer. On one hand, you have a property owner that wants to develop a piece of property in a fast-growing city, bringing with it jobs and revenue. On the other hand, you have very close-by residents that will be tremendously impacted by that development. In this case, it is very important to weigh the impact of this development. Will it provide for a beneficial and convenient relationship among residential and industrial areas to the best interest of the general public? I use that phraseology because that is what the planning and zoning mission statement uses. There is nothing beneficial or convenient or in the best interest of general public with this proposal. First is traffic issues. 44 in this area is very crowded. Yes, they have done a professional traffic study and proposed a red light, but that is not yet approved. Admittedly, red lights are catch-22. You have to establish the issue before you get the light. But who is really stuck establishing the issue? While Mr. Poe is a reputable developer, this development will be finished way before a red light is approved and installed. Yes, Mr. Poe has generously offered to put money in an escrow account to pay for the light, if it gets approved. But ultimately, it will be the citizens and taxpayers of the city who will pay We will pay in time spent sitting in traffic. Our taxes will pay for the emergency runs by police and fire. And for who knows how long, the residents are stuck with semi-trucks turning left onto an already overcrowded 44. Remember, light hasn't been approved. Additionally, the current Lakeview entrance will be left. How long will it take before drivers realize they don't have to sit at the red light to turn off of Lakeview? Add the additional 300 cars from the proposed apartment complex. Want to know what this looks like? Think of the intersection of Adam Shepherd and Keystone Crossings, better known as the Wendy's entrance. Furthermore, there are two schools within a mile of this development, one a high school. A high school means young drivers, sometimes inattentive young drivers. While we can't see into the future, predictions can be made. There are also numerous entrances in this area. Simply putting in a red light will not solve the difficulty of safely navigating this stretch of 44. This is not in the best interest of the general public. Additionally, where they are proposing to put the entrance is right where the 44 eastbound right lane ends. Yes, they've addressed it in this one. Again, we can't predict the future, but how many accidents will we have to endure there before a red light is installed? The traffic issues generated by large and heavy truck traffic is neither beneficial nor convenient to either the citizens or the tenants of the warehouses, and is definitely not in the best interest of the general public. For this reason, I ask that you approve the unfavorable recommendation of the rezoning request. Second is the fact that this is located in an area of Shepherdsville that is residential. Okay. This area has been residential for as long as I can remember. There is not any kind of development of this kind on I-65. There has been no substantial change to this area for the past 20 years, and these two reasons alone are enough to accept the unfavorable recommendation for the rezoning of this property. Finally, that's a clue that I'm finishing. Finally, you will hear about additional safety and health concerns from other speakers tonight. Mr. Ferris will point out that these are all emotional issues with no facts to support them. Yes, the developer has completed traffic and engineering studies, and those support the application, but none of those support the fact that this development will be neither beneficial nor convenient for the citizens of this city, whose safety and well-being should be of the utmost importance. While I understand that the property owners need to profit from their land, I believe that the proper zoning already exists for this area. Large warehouses such as those proposed do not belong in this area. I ask that you adopt the unfavorable recommendation sent to you from the Planning and Zoning Board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Like I said, trying to be fair, 18 minutes on the opposition
Well,
side.
and Mayor, they did ask for 5 minutes to rebut, so I'd say add 5 minutes to that.
Yeah, okay, so you'll have 17 and 17 and a half left. Try to be fair. Jerry, come on up, Jerry Reimer. And I guess give your name and your address for me.
Gotcha. All right, my name's Jerry Reimer, 279 Cedar Grove Road, and I can't top what she just said. So I'm just going to say I agree with everything she had to say. I think y'all need to vote this down. And that's all I'm going to say because there's too many people to need to speak.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you. Jeremy Reimer. Okay, thank you, sir. Looks like going down to Joe Kaufman. And I guess your name's Joe Kaufman, correct? And can you give your address?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Joe Kaufman, 411 Centerview Drive. I know a lot of people had a lot of concerns at planning and zoning. I was there. Personally, I don't think planning and zoning did a very good job of answering questions, and when you asked them questions, it was like, I don't know. So, I did my homework. I did call the state and talk to a gentleman about the impact study that I got the copy from Mr. Ferris because they told me that the preliminary study they're doing with comments, and they'll send it to them, and they have to make changes or whatever the comments are and send it back. But they wouldn't give me a copy of it, so I did ask Mr. Ferris for it. Thank you. They did tell me that on this traffic light that we will not ever get a traffic light from Centerview, Eastview, Riverview, Tollview. That will never happen because it has to be an 8-hour consistently traffic study. And peak times for the schools in the morning and afternoon is not a continuous 8 hours. So I even asked for a traffic light somewhere between Roby and the end of Bullitt Central where you go into the vocational school. And the gentleman told me that will never happen. It usually doesn't happen around a subdivision. I asked him about whatever, whether it be warehouses or retail that goes in back there. He said that is a continuous 8-hour flow. So yes, there would be a red light at 1,400 feet from the others, they are still working on some preliminary stuff that they will be sending to these gentlemen, that they're gonna have to, correct or do whatever they need to do. It doesn't matter what, we get back there, we're gonna get something. I did look at the impact study, and I did talk to this gentleman, and he told me that, the less traffic you have coming out of the Lakeview, and I asked him twice, and I repeated what he said, because I don't wanna get anything wrong. He told me the less traffic you got coming out there would, be better than, retail stuff. Also, at the planning and zoning meeting, I think these gentlemen did say they would, that the road would be built first, and it has to be built first before the red light goes in. And the gentleman I talked to said that is correct. Now, I'm not here for them. I'm here because at the time of planning and zoning, I didn't understand everything. Yes, we do have problems at peak times, and I would ask you all if you could, maybe, if the warehouse or apartments or whatever's gonna go in, if you could, not start, work in the morning, with, school traffic, and the same thing in the afternoon, because we do have a lot of kids at the elementary and the high school that, you know, it could be, you know, let's see. Do what? You're kidding yourself or something like that. Kidding what? Listen, it's my turn.
Hold on.
You have your turn,
Hey, whenever
okay?
y'all talk, you have to address us. Yeah, because it makes it kind of like a presentation.
And I'm sorry. I know people are frustrated. I'm frustrated because I have to come out there at certain times if there's a lot of traffic. But there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, I got it straight from the horse's mouth. I wish I could go up there and say, I'll take over your job, and we do need, traffic lights there, but I can't, because that's not the way it works. But I appreciate, letting me speak, and, I would just ask that the council listens to every comment and make your decisions based on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Billy Young? Come on up, sir. And this is, like I said,
This is Billy Young, and if you would, just give your address there, sir. Try to, you have about 12 more minutes left. So
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you, Billy
there's a
Young,
few more speakers.
526 Centerview Drive.
Thank you.
I just got a few questions.
Yes,
As
sir.
the first lady, she just covered everything it could be. I was just taking notes during it. A couple things on the reading, you said that you all had a public meeting and voted or decided to override the Bullitt County Zoning Commission.
Mayor, I can address that. So the way it has to work, when the planning commission sends an unfavorable recommendation, the council is not going to pass an ordinance that says we're not gonna rezone. We don't need to have an ordinance that says that. So if they decide they're not going to allow the rezoning, they just turn down the ordinance. So the ordinance itself has to be approving the zoning, otherwise you just don't pass the ordinance and there is no ordinance. That's why we had to read it that way. This is the public hearing.
Okay.
So you asked about a public meeting, that's this right now.
Okay, well, there was another public hearing at your last meeting, you didn't let anybody talk.
Because it wasn't a public hearing, it's tonight, because we had to
Right.
advertise it. Yes, sir.
But it was the first reading, you get the first reading tonight, you allowed people to talk if they wanted to. That's why I'm
It was
bringing it up.
because we didn't have the public hearing notice. If
Didn't
we
get
had
that
had
to be
that notice,
advertised.
then you would have been able to do it.
So all the
Okay.
folks knew to
It's
come
just
to
a
speak.
technicality.
Yeah.
Well, I should
Good-
have
good
waited for this
question.
one for your first reading, my opinion. Okay. One of the questions I asked about when the traffic study was done, and your whole plan is based on, you said like 3 or 4 times, on a light. A light that's not approved, and there's no guarantee it will be approved. Yeah, it might reach the qualifications now, but that's still up to the state to make that decision. So, everything the developer's talking about was based on a light that we don't know will happen. And this other gentleman here was talking about on the traffic lanes. He said there should be sufficient space coming out of Centerview to make the merge. Should is not a very technical term. And some of the numbers you were coming up on the warehouse traffic. You're talking about the number of employees for warehouses, talking about the truck traffic in and out. Where do these numbers come from? Estimates, evaluations? Any engineer can come up with any numbers they want to try to skew their findings. I just found a lot of this, and one thing no one addressed this time around is the safety of the children trying to cross this proposed road, going to 5-star. And backfill they're going to have to do to build the warehouses or any development, and the flooding that will be pushed into other areas. Now, the flooding won't affect me because I'm on high ground, but there's other people who will get flooded more. The apartments themselves get flooded in high waters right now. Those are my concerns.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, if you would, Christy Kirk. Did I pronounce your name right? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Christy Kirk. I'm actually Audubon Drive out off of 245.
Okay.
I would like to say that your posters are great. Don't get me wrong. It's a great plan, but as a parent, my child's safety is my top priority. You are looking at the elementary school, you are looking at the high school. Now, I know I see a lot of people around here close to my age. I know that when I was in high school, there wasn't nothing to skip school a day. You put 2 teenage girls skipping school, and you have an opportunity for how many truck drivers coming in and out of this place? How many opportunities do you have for those girls to go missing? You know, you're putting yourself in an opportunity right there. I understand as a business for them to create more business. That's how they make their money. It's how we make our money as a city to continue to grow. But there comes a point in time where we have to stop looking at the dollars and we have to look at the good of the community. And you have to remember, these people are not out here because they felt like they had nothing else to do tonight. These people are out here because they are opposing what is being pushed. Thank you. I missed my word. Thank you. And just remember that these are also the same people that vote you in on your positions too. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what's going on. Think about the voters and what the voters are telling you they want. It's not just about what you think looks good sitting up here or whose pockets it's going to help, okay? That's my opinion on it. I have the same views for the 245 issue, and apparently we're not going to get to discuss that tonight, but
Thank you for your
thank you.
comment.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Herb Hibbs, where'd Herb go? Come on up, sir. There you go. Just give your,
Herb Hibbs, 1185 Castleman Branch Road.
all right, good.
All right, so I appreciate my constituents for having my back. First of all, thank you very much. I think planning and zoning made the right call, and I'd hope the council will stick behind our planning and zoning. You know, you hear them up there, you can do this, you can do this. Well, if you don't let us do this, we're gonna do that. So they're just sitting here blatantly open, threatening you. If you don't give me what I want, I'm gonna do this, and you're still gonna have the problem. That's a bunch of BS right off the bat. You don't need, you know, as council members, you know, you all and the magistrates, this is our city, not their city. How many times, like the lady mentioned 245, there's supposed to be a whiskey warehouse. Was that just a shell game to where they tried, okay, we didn't get the money, didn't get the funding, oh, all of a sudden now we got a concrete monstrosity gonna be built there? You know, what about the ones right up here across the street from you all? One or two of those weren't what we expected already, right off the bat. Right across the street. That wasn't what the council approved. That wasn't what they're supposed to look like, what they weren't supposed to do. The lady mentioned the schools, the traffic. You know, enough is enough. We need to do more diligence, more investigation, and more communication amongst our constituents, letting them know this stuff is going on in our city, in our county. You know, we got we got planning and zoning. Okay, it's in the paper, bottom corner, in the three or four sentences at the bottom. That's it. Maybe there needs to be some sort of, because our city's getting taken over. How many people live off Cedar Grove knew Amazon was gonna be like that? This other warehouse gonna be hanging, they got $300,000 or $400,000 homes over there at the golf course. That they takes them an hour and a half to get home, fighting all that traffic. So how long is it gonna take my kid to get home from Bullitt Central? And fighting all that traffic trying to get in and out of there when there isn't a light. So I appreciate y'all's consideration and go with the planning and zoning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see, Perry Cook, yours is about something else, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me see, I got, David Strange? Just, give your address there if you would, please, sir. We got about 7 minutes left.
It shouldn't take a couple
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
David Strange, 878 Peaceful Way, Shepherdsville. My concern, as y'all know, is there's a historic grave on this property. The lone grave, been there since 1848. And so that's my particular interest in this, is that be preserved where it is, because the whole story is based of it being at that spot. The folks were kind enough to listen to me on that, and let me express my concerns about that. But I do, looking at the drawings tonight as they were presented, am remaining concerned on that. May I show you?
Yes.
They did find for the lone grave.
Is it okay if he touches that one of them for you? Okay. You want to hold it up to the council?
Yeah, they were kind enough to locate it accurately, which is this yellow spot right
Oh,
here.
okay, by the water and the building.
Between the water and the building. But that does remain a concern to me as I look at it tonight, because that's just like a 25-foot wide spot, which means the grave, as they have it, the building that's proposed must be 10 feet away from the grave.
Can I see that? Can I see that?
Right there.
Okay.
Old yellow spot.
Is the fence still up around it?
Yes, so the other day, I'm sure it is. And I think you all are offering to preserve it where it is.
Okay.
So that's good, but I am still remaining concerned that the new building would be so close to it, all the time new building 15 foot away from the grave. They're proposing access would be just coming from the back where people can get to it as they want. But I do remain concerned about that. Maybe the building, at least the building moved over some or something like that. 50 foot move of the building or something. To me, in that whole field and over the development, seems like more can be done to get around one grade.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say, go back up so they can hear you out there. It was,
So that's really my concern is, again, it's, seems to be that the building developed is right next to the grave, and I hope the building would be pushed away some if they make any changes on it. But again, it is a long-time grave site there, nice romantic story. I won't get into the time here, but I do ask that more space be allowed around that, perhaps access, and certainly protect it where it is.
okay, thank you, sir.
That's my only thing.
Thank you. Next, Rebecca Johnson. Rebecca Johnson. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Rebecca Johnson, 275 Beechwood Circle. I live in Mount Washington. I've lived here almost 30 years. I'm downsizing. My spouse died, and I've been looking for housing. I have family members and friends that all live in Bullitt County. As I've been looking for homes, the erosion and the water problems is knocking me out of buying homes right now. It scares me to see more warehouses go in. I've traveled and worked most of my life out west. They have planning and zoning. They've got sound pollution under control. I'm freaked out about Shepherdsville. I mean, just driving through there to get food or go to the store, I mean, you're taking your life in your own hand. How can we, with the roads that are in Bullitt County right now, even consider some of this stuff that's being considered? I'm outraged. I'm upset. My daughter has a home over on 480. I was driving through there with her this weekend and said, oh my God, there's warehouses out here by the golf course. These poor people have spent their life earnings in these expensive homes and they're being devalued. I'm concerned. I'm gonna be forced out of the county. I mean, I can't find a house right now. Everybody's moving from Louisville. The people that's been here, that's built this place, worked in this place, served their community, are being pushed out. It's horrible. I mean, I said, my God, Johnson's buried up there in the graveyard. I can't move out of Bullitt County. I'm cracking up, but it's upsetting. It's serious. And I have friends that bought property out on Beach Grove over there, and they're trying to build. They can't build because of the water problems, and they're wanting to build more warehouses for more runoff. I'm embarrassed the guy moved out here. He closed down a business in Louisville of 30 years to move out here. I'm just putting that out there. Trina said it really all, but I'm just saying, you all represent us. Please represent us. We're not happy with the roads. Can we deal with the roads before we start building more and creating more problems? I lost a dear friend up here on the interstate at the light because a truck ran over them. They ran the light. So, I mean, there's a lot of stories out there if you're out around people. That's why I'm up here sharing what I feel. Thank you so much for your
You're welcome.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marita Cogburn? Okay, you wanna come up? There's like 2.5 minutes left, and we got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more speakers.
You're gonna have to let them.
So,
You have to let them speak.
Yeah.
I'd recommend just everybody, if we
3
can just do a
minutes.
clock each individual,
Okay.
3 minutes each, and just, we'll just have to try to keep it to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what was your name? So,
Marita Cockburn, 147 Coosa Drive.
okay, go ahead.
There's been I'm opposed to these warehouses going in. You know, I drive down Preston Highway. It used to be a nice little farm area there, and now it's a concrete embankment sitting there. On 245, they are going to be building apartments out there also, which is going to create a lot of more traffic and a lot more water runoff. It's going to cause our schools to get overloaded with more children. Either you have to build another school, or you'll have to have different time frames that kids go to school. The crime rate, since Walmart's gone in, our crime rate has went through the roof. I used to be able to park in Kroger's parking lot and leave my car unlocked and my windows rolled down. Now you cannot do that here, period, since Walmart went in, and these other small businesses, which brings people in from Louisville. There's a lot of people from Louisville moving out here, and they're gonna wish that they didn't. Because, you know, we moved out here because we wanted a small town. We didn't want concrete embankments every corner that you turn. Taxes out here is outrageous. These businesses out here are going to get a discount from LG&E on their electric bills and their water bills. But we don't get a discount. Our bills have gone up 45%. My Salt River electric bill used to be $35 to $40 a month. Now it's $80 to $90 a month. I use no more than I did 2 years ago. We're being taxed to death, and it's just asinine to take a small, beautiful community with great people in it and destroy it with traffic and concrete buildings. Why not build something? Why not build something for the kids in the community. They have violence on the school bus. They are bullying kids on the school bus because the kids have nothing to do out here. They either have to drive to Louisville or Mount Washington or E-Town to do anything. We have no movie theaters, no nothing, no bowling alleys, no community centers for the kids to go to, like they do up in Louisville. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Billy, I believe it's Billy Smith? Billy Smith? Yeah,
Billy Hart.
okay, is that your speech? Okay, all right. Well, would you repeat it? They wanted to hear again. Come up here and say that, and then you can go back if you want to. You don't want to.
I made him a promise, and I'll back it up right here.
Okay, Billy Smith.
I know, you can't hide from me, I know where he lives.
Okay.
I had a question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
What was gonna be done with the traffic?
Right.
And he assured me won't have that problem.
It's not going through Centerview. That was what he wanted to do.
Oh,
What's your address?
460 Centerview, been there since 1961. I've been there longer than most of you all remember.
Yeah. More than a morning. Well, thank you, Billy. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, and then next, that was Billy Smith. Next is it Wayne Downey? Wayne Downey, sir?
Right here. All right.
Come up, please.
I mean, if it's just for a few seconds, just come up here for a minute.
All right. Well, I live on Rams Road.
Rams Road? Okay.
Yep. So you're talking about these warehouses. I work in a warehouse. All right. Warehouses, 24/7. All right. You can't guarantee a time that they're going to be going. You're going to have noise pollution all day, all night.
Billy, look at us, because they're the ones who are going to
Okay,
vote,
I'm
right?
sorry.
That's okay.
Trying to talk to everybody here.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, that's good.
So you have noise pollution that's going to be happening. Traffic is going to be horrendous going east to west on 44. You're going to have to expand 44 almost all the way down to accommodate the traffic coming in and out of there. You're going to have semi-trucks, box trucks, apartments. You're going to have cars. You're going to have these little businesses. I rarely see businesses there, small businesses, where it's zoned right now, that generate profit for people, have places to work. Because right now, warehouses, mostly temp work, right? There's not permanent jobs for these people. Community needs the money, needs permanent jobs, not temp jobs. All right? Then you're going to have water issues, which we're already experiencing down Preston, Chappies. You need bigger drainage. You need better roadways. You're going to have to increase Preston, make that 4 lanes now. With the amount of warehouses already there being constructed, all right? It's not going to accommodate the semi-trucks with these massive concrete pieces going down Preston would almost ram me off the road because they're building these new warehouses. Get a little frustrated, sorry. That's all I gotta say is this, it's horrendous what's being done to our community, to our county, which the city is affecting our county, you know, all y'all. So, y'all making decisions for the county, not the city, and that's affecting a lot of us out there. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, let me see if I can get this.
Right, so Perry, Frank, Steve, and Phelps, you're going to speak at the public, on the comments?
Mr. Phelps did want to speak on this.
Did you want to speak on this issue? Okay, sure, come on up, you're next. Stephen Phelps, give your address there, sir.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Phelps. My address is 295 Lovers Leap Lane, out off of Chappies. The question I had in regards to the proposal, and it may be best served for Mr. Zimmerman, I don't have expertise in traffic studies. I certainly can count, but the proposal was talked about volumes of traffic. My question is a 15-foot family sedan and a 65-foot semi-trailer both considered one vehicle in a traffic study? That's all I had.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Looks like we have Sal Ocasio.
I'll pass, Mr. Mayor. What's sad is they took my thunder.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Looks like Tamara Lakes. Tamara, you want to come up? Okay. You're welcome to speak over there.
Hello, Tamara Lakes, 130 Ricky Court.
Thank you.
It's Meadow Peak subdivision, which is next to Bernheim. I don't have any of these fancy things, and in the interest of time, I'm not going to repeat everything that my lovely fellow citizens have said, but I will, if you don't mind. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I would like to show you a picture of my backyard.
Come. Yes.
Normally, there's no water in my backyard. No water.
And where's that at again?
Now it looks like Salt River.
Yeah. What's your address again?
Just,
What's your address again?
130 Ricky Court, which is, if you go into Meadow Peak subdivision, is the first street on the right and at the end of the cul-de-sac. So.
Refresh it. You lost the picture.
No water. Now it looks like Salt River. And that's just with 1.5 inches of water. And that's now. Ever since we started getting those warehouses down at the end of 245, that's what's happened to me. This is two retaining walls that I've placed at the back of my home for the cost of $60,000. If there is another warehouse, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Let me see that. What was your last name again, please?
Lakes.
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 My in-laws have lived here since 1988.
Can you get on the mic over there?
What's that?
You want to get on the mic so everybody can hear you too?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
My in-laws have lived here since 1988, and we've lived in our home for over 21 years. I have never seen these problems before. The last year has just been a nightmare. And if I may, I would like to say that because I work at a school in Jefferson County, I happen to know some things about the workers that are working at the warehouse. I can't say a whole lot because of HIPAA laws, but there are workers that work in the warehouses. They get rides in, and I happen to know, because of some behavioral issues, that the people dropping them off wreak havoc in our neighborhoods. And it really concerns me. I don't know if anyone's noticed or not, but we've had a lot more crime recently. So,
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, Dwayne Price.
Yes, sir.
Come on up, sir. If you would, sir, give your address.
I'll give you my address.
There you go.
My address is 222 Beechwood, Shepherdsville. First off, I want to ask y'all to forgive me for my appearance. I couldn't get home to shave because I couldn't get through the traffic. Usually me and Eric are on the same page on everything, but this time here I'm not. I'm not in agreement with this at all. I live here, you know, so you take that in consideration. Nothing against y'all and y'all's expertise. I'm not an expert in anything, but I do know this. I sit in traffic every day over here, red light after red light after red light, trying to get through. And we don't need no more of that. You know, when I went to the heart doctor, you're getting blocked up in my arteries there. You got to keep eating them Little Debbie's. They said, no, you quit eating those Little Debbie's. So since the arteries are getting blocked up out here, let's unclog them with something other than more traffic. And I've lived here since 1965. There was one red light. Now there's 7 or 8, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to add some more. But I also know about the traffic. You know, that's what I do for a living. And I know this, that you just can't walk in and say, I'm going to put a red light down here. It just don't work that way. It does not work that way. Getting red lights is not simple. Y'all know that. I don't have to tell y'all this stuff. But anyhow, as far as traffic goes again, and I'll tell you something I don't like that happened tonight, is the little minor threats that was being thrown out. You're going to get this stick of dynamite, or you're going to get 2 sticks of dynamite. But you don't get a stick of dynamite. That's not what we're here. I think it's time for the citizens and our council who represent us to say no. Simple as that. And the planning and zoning was introduced in 1968. One of the members was back there. In 1968, it took them 54 years to get something right, and they got it right on this one when they denied this. And I'm proud of that. So let's not break their heart and let them have this one little victory here in 54 years. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Any questions? You got a
You
question?
want to
for him?
tell them about the water situation here since you lived through it?
I didn't hear you.
Do you want to talk about the water and the flood area since you lived through all that?
Yeah, it just got worse as the years goes by. I mean, you keep adding to low ground, building up, and you got to build up because Shepherdville's a swamp about like Fairdale. So you got to keep building up and something solid to build your foundations or whatever you want to put on it. But as you add here, you're pushing the water somewhere else. So the flood's actually been changed all over the city. Where you used to get nothing, now you might get 8 inches. Where you used to get 8 inches, you might not get anything. So, all that, and you can't just do it. Like I said, I don't have no kind of college at all, none. Y'all can tell that, I'm sure. But it don't take somebody very long to come to Shepherdville and sit in traffic and know. I don't have to hire somebody to tell me about no traffic study. I'm living a traffic study.
Yeah, but you're honest. You're honest about it.
Yeah, and it ain't nothing against y'all. I know y'all come in, y'all in the business. I have my business too. I've been in business for 35 years, and I try to make myself sound like raspberries to everybody. It's just like McDonald's and the steakhouses. When they want to sell you something, they're going to dress it up for you real good. And when you get to biting into it, they so good all the time. So, like I said, I don't have no college education. I just got a little bit of common sense like Forrest Gump, but I see it's a simple thing. And it don't take no Einstein to see this ain't going to work right. We cannot keep building. We can't keep building Shepherdville until we have better structure, better roadways. Like I was saying, since 1968, the Planning and Zoning Board was known as zoning. Just give it to them, just give it to them. Now I was come back to bite because they never planned for roadways. Not just this, the whole county. It's all screwed up. But anyway, now it's time, I think, to grow up a little bit, and we should grow up a little bit. And just put the dollar behind us sometimes. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm out of time. Thank y'all.
It's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so what can we do?
If that's everybody, then
Yeah.
Eric can come back up
Okay,
and
that
do his.
concludes our sign-in speakers. Now, we'll have on the agenda, on the back page, it says sign-in speakers, and we'll let Perry and Frank speak on that in just a few minutes. Yeah, when we get there to it. Okay, go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir, ready.
I'm going to address just a few things, and then I'm going to make a final statement here. But the question about the light and the road, we are absolutely willing to make it a contingency of this approval that roadway be constructed before a certificate of occupancy is issued for any of these structures. Without a light, this type of project, the proposed industrial project, cannot go. So it won't work. It will, however, not stop the existing zoning from happening. And folks, we're not making a threat here. This is not, I'm just telling you what the law allows. And I know that this is political. I know it's politics. I know it's an election year. And I know that you gotta go with what you think is the popular thing to do, as opposed to what might be the legal and appropriate thing to do here. The traffic count, and you've got no evidence to the contrary, the traffic count will be substantially higher, as much as 14 times higher during peak time, in this area in front of our schools. The school district supports putting this light in, folks. They're the ones that are in charge of watching over the kids. They're the ones in charge. You know, I'm from around here. My mother was on the board. I know exactly who is looking out for the best interest of whom here. So let me just back up and say that it amazes me that this has turned into a discussion of industrial or general growth in this county. How many times have you all approved industrial projects? How many times have you issued incentives for industrial projects? Because you know it is in the best interest of the community. There are no incentives requested here. All we're asking is the opportunity to put in a use that is the preferred use for the developer, yes. But it makes more sense to reduce the traffic with this proposed use with the improvements that he is promising to bring to the road system. And to do the contrary flies against all that you have been doing to bring growth to the community. Without industrial growth that we have had, we would not have the city services. You would not have the good city coffers that you have through the property taxes, through the occupational taxes. You don't have the services. You wouldn't have the equipment. You wouldn't have sewer lines extended to some of these residential areas that you now have because of this growth. So this isn't about industrial growth. This is about this piece of property, and it's getting people in and out of this piece of property, which is gonna be developed. It's gonna have apartments. Somebody else is building those. It's gonna have a retail component. We'll build those if that's what you choose, but the option we're giving is less traffic, and nobody has been able to say that's not true. There will be trucks with retail uses just as much as any. You know the types of trucks that are serving the Lowe's Center. You know the types of trucks that are serving a Walmart type of center, a large grocery center. Those are the things that are going to happen here regardless, as a matter of legal right. So what we are asking you to do is to allow, and we've listened to people. We've listened about the lone grave. We're addressing that. I've addressed it with the county coroner. We know exactly what has to be done to protect access. We've talked to Ms. Kaufman, anybody else that wants to talk to us. We've listened, and we have offered all the information we can offer. We're transparent. There's nothing hidden here. We're just telling you it's a simple choice, and it's up to you to make that choice. And just be prepared. It's not a threat. We're just telling you something's going to go in here that's going to bring a lot more traffic if you don't approve this proposal. Give us a chance to put in this proposal with the safeguards that we want to build in, and we think you'll be happier down the road. Again, is it the popular decision? No. But it's the right one. And thank you for the time, and I appreciate everybody listening to me out here as well.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
I'd
Ms.
like
Bonnie, go ahead.
I'd like to speak.
Yes.
How many people here know me? You raise your hands. How many people actually know me? I'm insulted that they're calling this political. Everybody that knows me well knows I don't vote by politics. I vote by what I believe in and what is right to do. It gets me in trouble. I do feel like it's a threat when they're going to tell us either or. I've been threatened before. I've been forced to accept things that I shouldn't have, and I won't go into details of that because then I might have it happen to me again. The traffic light is not a definite. I can't go with that. Our children's safety is the most important thing down through there. We can't even get the school board to put crossing lights out there for our children. We're trying to figure out ways to pay for it ourselves because the school board won't do it. So we want to add tractor trailers to that? No, I don't think so. This is a neighborhood community, just like Trina said. It's a neighborhood. We don't want the warehouses. I haven't wanted all the other warehouses. If you go back and look, you'll see how I voted against them. I agree, no more warehouses. And I also agree with the lone grave. We need to protect the lone grave, and we need to stand for ourselves. I've been coming out here since a small child. My grandparents out here, and I remember when it was one red light in the whole town. And I hate the growth. I didn't mind driving to Louisville to get anything, and I don't want to see no more of it.
Okay, any more
Yes,
questions or comments about the city council?
I would just like
Lisa
to,
Carter?
I would just like to say, I had one time lived on Centerview, and most of you all know C.E. Roby. His daughter passed away by being T-boned there at Centerview Drive many, many years ago. I didn't know her, but she was a teenager. As I look at the plans they have drawn out here, any of you all that have driven 44 East, and I wish my adult children that are 19 and 24 were here this evening. Because most of you all realize that there is that lane that merges right before you get to the church there on the right at the 5-Star and the Shell gas station that was previously there. I can't tell you how many times my kids were sitting in my lap afraid of the cars that were gonna take their side out when I had a little Ranger, petrified that they were going to run into our side and hurt them. And this has been many years ago. But I wish my children would have been here, because I would have loved for them to have stood over and discussed their fear at that particular area. And looking at this, and I don't know how many people in the audience had this paper to look at, but if you don't think that turning lane to go into that street that they want to put in there, if you don't think you're going to have road rage of people running that particular lane out to get 2 more seconds ahead of the next person to get home, we'd all be fools. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. I just don't see that working there. As the state has not given 200%, 300% that they will put a red light there. I've been out here 27 years. I know some of these other people have been out here longer. I don't foresee a red light going there. I want some good development. People are tired of the warehouses. People are tired of why is it we are called, well, it's Shepherdsville. No, it's our homes. It's our community. As some council members on here will laugh, I don't want concrete buildings. I want nice brick buildings like the east end of Louisville, like the Commons has. Why can't we get that type of stuff? Why can't we get a senior living facility? Mount Washington has 2. We have nothing here for our seniors with family members that live in this community to go visit and take care of their kids. If you all could come up with a plan of senior living where the seniors aren't driving as much, I would be for that. But a warehouse, I'm sorry. It's nothing personal, and I know you probably build great buildings. Your name is well known. I just don't think a warehouse on that side, the east side, the more residential side, is what we need.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Anybody else?
I'm gonna speak.
Okay, Stacy
So,
Klein.
you all know I live at 638 Centerview Drive. That's my address. I have, like Lisa, I've lived there my whole life. So when I taught my kids how to drive, I didn't teach them to come out of the Centerview to turn right. I taught them, get out in the center lane, get it, and get out. That's the way my parents taught me. I'm against warehouses. I think it's ridiculous. It's a flooding area.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead, Lisa Carter.
I'm sorry. And if I can add another thing, since I don't, right before I left Centerview, the animal hospital went in there. And they do not access the road from 44. They access the road from Centerview Drive. And as Stacy said, she told her children to get it and get out on the road until the Church of Christ, decided to quit entertaining their parking lot for free for the hospital to use their parking lot. They resurfaced it and they've blocked it off and told them no parking. So now the traffic really backs up on Centerview. To
All
get
down
out
the
on
road.
Saturdays, they're open till 2 o'clock on Saturdays. And it's terrible.
They park in people's grass. Not to mention, I'm a huge dog lover, but they let their dogs poop in everybody's driveways and everybody's yards. So she's exactly right about that.
Okay, well, let's, all right, well, that concludes our session. So what I need now is a motion to accept our ordinance with a zoning change, or I need a motion to accept planning and zoning,
Uphold the planning and zoning.
uphold it unfavorable recommendation.
I'll make that motion to go with the
Okay, what is that motion?
planning and zoning. unfavorable recommendation.
And I second it.
So it's the first,
And turn
Stacy.
down the ordinance.
And turn
Yes.
down the ordinance.
Was that your same, Bonnie, there too?
Yes.
So there's two there. Any discussion?
I would.
Okay, Mike,
If you
go
don't
ahead.
mind. I got to looking at some old minutes here in the last few days, and I noticed that at some point back in 2018, there was discussion about having these types of meetings at the first reading. And it was just simply a matter of change of procedure. There had to be no ordinance or anything like that. I have heard a lot of opinions tonight that I haven't heard in the last 2 weeks. And everybody, I respect everyone's opinion, but I've been left to gather what facts I can come up with just by looking at planning and zoning, minutes, meetings, or people that have sent me an email or called, which, I don't know, maybe you gave up on me. I only had about 3 calls. So, that's just what I have. So, I kinda wish there had been this meeting 2 weeks ago. And I hope we do that in the future, because I've got a list of about 15 people that took the time to come in to speak, to express their opinions. And if I don't understand their point of view, or I want some more knowledge, I'd like to be able to go see them, or call them, or talk to them. And I've not had that opportunity. That's one thought. The second one is, and I've told some people that did call me, I'm not a big fan of telling people what they can and cannot do with their property. All of you own property, and I use examples of, for instance, right down Centerview, there's pretty much all, single-family ranch type homes. And if one of those homes burnt down, the occupant could turn around and build a 2-story, 35-foot tall building right next to your 15 or 16-foot ranch home and take your view out. But they can, because it meets the requirements. Okay, so things change. I don't agree with all the change. Some of you may agree with change that I disagree with, or vice versa. So tonight, when it comes time to vote, actually vote, as they say, where the rubber meets the road, there's someone that signs each and every one of their emails that goes out in the city hall and out to the city. And it's very simple. I don't compare myself to Dr. Martin Luther King in any way, shape, or form. His quote is, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." And I think that we should all think of that, because it's very easy to go along with the crowd. Crowd's not always right.
Well, we got a motion on the table.
So,
Is this for
yes,
both
thank
of
you.
them at the same time, or we just,
I think you have to vote separately, don't you?
we have to do them separately? So this is for the first one?
Uh-huh.
Let's clarify, if you all would, Bonnie, if you'll withdraw your second, and Stacy withdraw your motion, let's clarify.
And then
the
clarify
motion
it?
for the specific, what we're talking about.
Okay. Okay, so
022-044,
Okay, what's your motion?
the same as it was.
Okay, and that was motion to accept planning and zoning as
Yes.
favorable?
Yes.
Yes.
Same thing with that ordinance?
Same thing.
Are you adopting the findings of fact of the planning commission, or are there any additional findings that you want to state in your motion?
You all got joined these earlier tonight? I mean, y'all joined the two together, right?
Sir, hold on, we're in the middle of the motion.
No, I say we go with the findings of facts that they have.
On the ordinance 022-044.
Correct.
You two.
I made the motion, Bonnie seconded it.
Okay, okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Bonnie Enlow,
Yes.
accept, don't you, this motion, okay? You got that?
Yep.
Mike Hibbert?
No.
No. Stacy Klein?
It's a yes.
Yes. Deb Huffman?
Yes.
Yes. Kenny, what did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Kenny Newton?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Motion passes, 5 yeses, 1 no.
And then Mayor, we need a motion on ordinance 022-045.
Okay, we don't entertain a motion for that?
Motion.
That right? Okay,
Second.
okay.
And again, just to clarify,
Clarify what your
the motion is
To accept the recommendation of the zoning.
of the planning commission and declining to
Planning and
pass the
zoning
ordinance.
commission.
Now we pass this ordinance.
To 022-045.
Are you adopting the findings of fact of the planning commission, or do you want to make any additional findings in your motion?
I'm adopting their recommendation.
Okay.
Do we have Stacy second that one?
Second?
I did.
Okay, roll call vote again. Bonnie Alpino?
Yes.
Mike Hibbert?
No.
No. Stacy Klein?
Yes.
Deb Huffman?
Yes.
Kenny Newton?
Yes.
Lisa Carter?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes on both of them. Second reading of public hearing ordinance 022-046.
Mayor, if there's going to be a mass exodus, do you want me to wait a minute before
Yeah.
we read it, or?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
you want to do let the other two signing speakers?
Whatever you want to do. I just-
Hey,
if there's gonna
before
be a-
everybody leave, let me let the two signing speakers while you got the crowd here. Perry Cook, come on up a second, and if you can, try to keep it to the 3 minutes. And then we'll have Frank Kramer.
I think Mr. Phelps wanted to speak again.
Did you?
We were correct.
Okay, it'd be 3 minutes, okay.
Okay, Perry Cook, Mark 12 Ministries, 6504 Route Road, Fisherville, Kentucky. I was just perusing Matthew 25, 30, 1, 2, as this planning and zoning stuff is going on, where God was giving the parable of separating the sheep to the left and to the right. And he said to them, when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was a stranger, you took me in. When I was naked, you clothed me. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. And the righteous said to him, Christ, when do we ever see you? Hungry, sick, imprisoned, or a stranger? And he said, when you do this to the least of these, you do it for me. So I have just one question. I want to clarify a point that I brought and proposed 2 weeks ago. We sat here after the end of the White Flag Shelter when we helped 56, and I love some of the examples given today. The high prices of water, of gas, electric going up. I'm getting calls more and more for people in this community asking for help. They're asking for help with their water bills. They're asking for help with their electric bills. They're the unhoused in our community, the homeless, the impoverished. We asked if we could buy a building that the city owns and has laid dormant for years. I have found out that other people have interest in buying this property and have actually approached the council about buying this property. So just to clarify, because a lot of media agencies have been calling me about if the city council was going to listen to our proposal from the Carol Ann Safe Haven Foundation to buy a building from the city, to open the first homeless shelter, homeless resource center in our county, to also bring programming here for the impoverished, like welding courses, auto mechanic courses, in partnership with Jefferson Technical and Community College that have already been set up. Again, we've been operating the White Flag Shelter for 4 winters now, and we have ministered to over 300 homeless individuals in our county. 88% being from Bullitt County. And so I just want to ask again, 2 weeks ago, we asked if we could purchase that building, and you guys did not want to go into executive session. You instead denied that opportunity for us to have the conversation. But just so that I don't misquote anyone when I talk to WDRB and WHAS and everybody who's wondering if we're going to put a homeless shelter in Bullitt County.
Any comments from the council?
I got a comment.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did
stay-
Mr. Cook
hold on.
finish his question?
Yeah. Is
No,
that,
Are you done?
I was commenting on some of the stuff he had said in the beginning about, I don't know where you heard that it was for sale.
Right. Who
And
told you that?
And secondly,
I was told by an individual.
Well, I know
let
that,
let us know who, because we
Who?
wanna know. We wanna know who,
Who told you that?
because nobody told anity
So,
that. And secondly,
it's an
it-
individual that's not in this room.
Oh, okay. Well, and secondly, you commented that we weren't using it. We have been using it. The mayor chose because somebody tore it up, and we can't let our citizens use it because there was a maintenance problem. But, so all of a sudden, we're letting the homeless use it. These citizens work hard. Their stuff is going up. You don't think they need a break? I'm sorry, but I'm not for a homeless shelter in Shepherdsville.
Me either.
I cannot vote for that. I am not for it. The citizens deserve better. Our public works guys are having to go out and work and clean up stuff. Our people that pay taxes are getting torn up. Their properties are getting torn up. They're being threatened. And our police officers are having to work and take care of all the homeless. It's not fair to the community.
Okay. So my question is, the folks that are homeless in our community, what should I do with them?
Take them to your house. Don't you understand why I say that? He's not telling the truth when he says 80% of these are from Bullitt County.
Excuse me?
The police department has informed me that as they've taken names and visit them, that they didn't come from here, that the majority does not come from Bullitt County.
I can provide you
Yeah, I asked
documentation.
I asked you before how you knew where they were from, and you said, I asked them. I said, did they show you an ID or anything? No, I trust them.
You just said that that's the same thing the police do.
The police ask them where they're from, and they tell them they're not from here.
Okay.
I believe that.
I can provide documentation of where I'm getting these
I
numbers
don't mind
from.
helping the homeless. I have one that's up here by, the Shell where the old Shell station is big. I stop by every few days and buy him food. I've bought him clothes.
Bill?
Bill, yes. I help him all the time. There was some other ones that used to hang out down here that I helped too. I don't mind helping them. But if we put your homeless shelter that you want in the middle of Shepherdsville, when all the business owners are all around are complaining about being stolen from, threatened. I've got apartment people living over there that said they can't come out their doors at night. Who are we supposed to take care of first? The people that live here or them?
These are individuals that live here, ma'am.
They're
And
living-
they may not live the way that you want them to live, and some of them are trying very hard. And mental health and addiction is an epidemic in our county.
I know, my stepson was one.
But
One
do
out
you-
of 6 individuals in our county are directly impacted by the opioid crisis. 1 out of 6. We're one of the highest counties with this drug addiction problem.
Do you think
But
it's
you want me
right?
to bring them all to my house? I mean, that's what you just told me.
We don't want it in the middle of our town either.
Right.
Do you think
And
it's
our
right
citizens
that they're tearing up people's property and
No, I
they're
don't.
pooping? They're pooping on their sidewalks.
And
They can't even go to the park. We have people that run a business, that's their livelihood, and they are tearing up their property. I must have 10 videos that people have sent me that live right on Buckman, or that work on Buckman
Yes,
Street.
ma'am.
They've been threatened, their
And-
kids.
Right, and ma'am, without a resource center,
We never had a
without
problem before this. We've never had a problem like this. I've lived here my whole life. I've never seen a problem like this before.
But just like was pointed out here before, is that we have had people moving from this other counties that have been coming to this county. Homelessness in the entire nation is growing. It's not just Bullitt County.
Oh, I see it. I work in Louisville. I see it. It's
the,
everywhere.
it's the entire nation. It's growing. There are folks that call me that are getting ready to lose their houses. The rent in the apartment complex right in front of where this development is going, they just raised the rent $250 a month on their tenants. A lot of those are on fixed income.
What, so is the elderly. So is the elderly. They're on fixed income.
I know. So I guess just so that I can state factually, the city council has no interest in.
Nobody ever said anything about we did want to do that. I don't know where that came from.
I'm just asking that you have no interest to
No, I said
talk
that in the
about
last meeting.
helping our impoverished and homeless in our community.
We're not against helping them, we're just
Well, we said
against
we
the
don't want
center.
it in the middle of our
We don't
town.
want it in the middle of our
We just don't want it in
town.
the middle of the town.
The community center that people that pay taxes should be able to use.
Right in the middle of town.
All right, well,
Right,
let's,
right close to the First Baptist Church
Okay.
area.
okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
No, now I know how to go forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, council. All right, next we got one more sign-in speaker, and we'll move on the agenda.
We have two more.
Oh, okay, yeah, two more. Mr. Frank Kramer, yeah, come on up. 3 minutes.
Frank Kramer, 260 Meadow Lane. Tonight's been really interesting.
Hang on, Mr.
Hold on just a
Kramer.
second, let them
Hang on.
leave so you get your
So
attention.
we can hear you.
Yeah, because they're talking.
What'd you say, 260?
Meadow Lane. Now, I'm presently living in Spencer County. Our house burned down in 2020, August 6th. But I still pay taxes, and we just have to wait to rebuild because we can't get no insurance right now.
I've had two friends lose their houses recently because of
We'll be
that.
able to get it insured in 2023, so we're gonna start rebuilding in about May, June.
Okay, if y'all would kind of try to hold it down a bit.
We couldn't hear you, Mr.
We couldn't
Kramer.
hear because people talking.
My name is Frank Kramer. I live at 260 Meadow Lane.
Thank you, sir.
This has really been an interesting meeting tonight. I really like the fact that you all use these guidelines for approval on issues based on the comprehensive plan. I think that's pretty much the way it should be. However, what I don't understand, and now I'm going to talk about what I wanted to bring up, the warehouse off of 245. Everything you all have talked about, the schools, the traffic, that all applies to 245. The flooding, you know, the water is getting horrendous out there because it's got nowhere to go. The thing I don't understand is I thought you all were behind County Executive Jerry Sumner's plan for the Bourbon Trail. He had envisioned the Bourbon Trail, everything on the east of 65. He spent $25,000 on this commission to have it done. Everything east of 65 was going to be Bourbon Trail. Everything west of 65, coming up to 248, was going to be industrial, light industry. That was the plan. That's why the distillery was such a good idea. So what you all are proposing is you follow some plans, and I thought you all were behind the Bourbon Trail. I've heard you all talk about it, some of you. But I haven't been here in a while because I don't live around this. I live out in Spencer right now. But the thing I don't understand is why you don't have the same feelings for that area. What you all are proposing, every time somebody comes from Louisville or from Nashville up here and gets on to 245, expecting to see Bourbon Trail, first thing they're going to see is warehouse and maybe get stuck in traffic. I don't think you're going to get a lot of people want to come through there and have to deal with that. I mean, you're defeating the whole purpose of what the Bourbon Trail was supposed to be starting. It was supposed to be a starting point right there, and everything was related. And you all just shot that up in the air. And personally, I think it's an awful idea, but that's my opinion. I thank you all gentlemen and ladies for your time, and you all stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Phelps, come on up, sir. You want? Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, here. He was looking for it.
Again, my name is Steve Phelps. We've been here before. I hold a title of Vice Chair of the Southeast Bullitt community. And a lot of what I talk about, a lot of what I do is predominantly for that organization, this included. To Mayor and Council members, I want to take a few minutes and address the Council and the people of the audience concerning the warehouses that have become a blight of this city. Surrounding areas, the county, and that continues to grow. If we were to take a poll of the citizens of Shepherdsville and the surrounding areas, the finding would be a resounding no to any more warehouses. They are ugly. They detract from the beauty of the whole area. They create major traffic problems that interrupt our everyday lives, causing missed work, waste of gas, major delays on all roads of Shepherdsville, tremendous safety issues for our children riding to and from schools. They add to flooding problems and just a tremendous distaste in the mouths of your constituents. The last straw for me is this new 400,000 square foot warehouse planned next to the Bullitt County Fairgrounds. This area of the county, yes, county, is slated for tourism and the adopted tourism corridor overlay for the comprehensive plan. A warehouse does not, nor never will, fit into this overlay. But sadly, very sadly, the homeowners and citizens of this area see a mayor and council who don't care. In our eyes, it's to expand the city's boundaries at all costs and damn the people who live here, raise their families here, or want to call Shepherdsville and the surrounding areas home. The council has taken it upon itself over the last many years to find and exploit loopholes in the KRS statutes of annexation. What loopholes? The loopholes of corridor and leapfrog annexation, which jump from this property to this property, bypassing homeowners and citizens, not allowing them to rise up and vote no on the annexation. Sure, we can take you to court. Oh, we have done that. A costly and time-consuming venture for all parties involved, only to see overpaid attorneys find new loopholes to circumvent the last loopholes. In KRS statute 81A.510, and I've provided a copy, it states in part, quote, hereby is declared to be the public policy of the Commonwealth of Kentucky to encourage the location of new industry and the expansion of existing industry in Kentucky by prohibiting unfair and unreasonable annexation by municipal corporations of industry now hereafter located in unincorporated areas, end quote. These are important words. So now will one of the people please tell the audience what is fair and reasonable annexation by the city of Shepherdsville to the owners and citizens of an area when you're have encircled the properties and lock out the right to vote. Enough warehouses. Enough warehouses. If one Googles the impact of tourism in Kentucky, simply write that in. This is what you read.
Quote, tourism in Kentucky generated 1.5 billion in tax revenues in 2019, with 8.23 million accruing to state and local governments. That's a lot of money. Tourism enhances Kentuckians' quality of life. Kentucky tourism markets Kentucky products. Tourism and tourism marketing builds awareness of what is good and positive about Kentucky. What do warehouses compare to this? But continuing to vote for more warehouses, and this whole area will become nothing but paved roads, parking lots, and ugly concrete buildings. A Jefferson County industrial park. And lastly, or embrace the tourism offer and get a beautiful countryside with buildings that we can take pride in showing, seeing, and having in our own backyards.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Further questions?
All right, next, gonna be second reading and public hearing of ordinance 022046.
Well, Mayor, can I read your ordinance, because my laptop has died.
Yes.
Can I read someone's ordinance? Okay, thank you. Okay. Ordinance number 022-046, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map as amended, changing the zoning of 27.8 acres more or less, located at the northeast intersection of Cedar Grove Road and Interstate 65 in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00-014, from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. Whereas the Bullitt County Joint Planning Commission held a hearing on March 2nd, 2022, and based upon the testimony offered in that hearing, found that such change is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan, and has recommended that the Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map be amended to change the zoning of 27.8 acres located at the northeast intersection of Cedar Grove Road and Interstate 65 in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00-014, from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. And whereas the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky approves said recommendation. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1. The Bullitt County City zoning order and the Bullitt County City zoning map are hereby amended to change the zoning of 27.8 acres located at the northeast intersection of Cedar Grove Road and Interstate 65 in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00-014, from B1 Highway Business to IL Light Industrial. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon publication. Section 3, should any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the same shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Section 4, parts of any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance or any part of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Given first reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky on the 14th day of March 2022. Given second reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky on the 28th day of March 2022.
Thank you. Yeah.
This location that you're talking about, you keep referring to it as the northeast of the intersection.
Man, Mr. Woolridge may be able to answer
He might be
your
able to answer
questions.
that. If you want to come up, John? Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, he might be able to answer that for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last piece of property owned by BDHM that they are asking to rezone to light industrial. I think I actually may have done this zoning about 20 years ago. This property, for the sake of the audience, if you get out on 480 and you progress east and you go by Love's Truck Stop, where the light is the entry to this property.
Okay.
All right. This property is really exactly 500 feet from the intersection of I-65 to the entry of the site. this was about 200 acres actually that was zoned light industrial with a small portion up front zoned commercial. We've asked that it be rezoned. It does meet the comprehensive plan, which the Planning Commission reviewed and looked at. It meets it in just about every facet of the goals and objectives. We have a 5-lane highway. We have turning lanes. We have a traffic. We are within 500 feet of an intersection. We are not in any residential zone whatsoever. Everything around this to the east is light industrial. It's light industrial to the north. It is light industrial to the south. And on the west, I have I-65 and a truck stop. As far as the use of it, it will be an industrial building. Site is yet to be determined. The building that we're looking at is about 200,000 square feet. It is probably one of the smallest buildings that will be built in that particular area. It has access to city sewers, city water, all the utilities. Actually, the developer has met with the sewer department in Shepherdsville, and they are upgrading what would needed to be on that site from basically an 8-inch sewer main, will probably be a 12-inch put in there to help the city up 480 and in other areas. It's not adjacent to any residential area. It has the traffic utility site. It is not in the flood zone. The site itself is going to be about a 25-acre site. On the site as a whole, there's probably going to be 15 to 20 acres of green space in the rear that have nothing to do with this site, but are back closer to Salt River.
Thank you, sir.
Questions for the board? I'll
Any
be glad to
questions from the
answer.
audience, public hearing? Any questions from the council?
Yes,
Lisa
John,
Carter?
I have a question for you. In the paperwork that we received from planning and zoning, there was a total of 137.4 or 137.8 acres. Has these two parcels been subdivided off of the 137 total?
Well, what we have is there's 140 acres left, of which all is light industrial except for the portion that you're looking at tonight. And actually, it's probably two trapezoids. There's a left triangle and then there's to the right. But all of the property in the rear of this has already been rezoned light industrial about probably 20 years ago by the city, before the interchange was even there.
So do these parcels have to be broken off of the 137.4 or 8 acres?
The two that you're rezoning are off of the 137 acres.
Because I had spoke with the PVA office, and they didn't have any parcel numbers for either one of these.
Where the city attorney got the parcel number, I'm not sure. The whole parcel should be on one block and lot.
Can I see that one again?
Yeah, it hasn't been spun off. This is part of the 137 acres, so it should really not have a separate block and lot until such time as it's deeded off. Probably what you're looking at would be the parent tract.
It's in the published docket. I was not on. It's on the published docket that the planning and zoning, put out, PVA number 046-000-014. That's the information we received from planning and zoning. So is it actually just a portion of that parcel then?
It is a portion of that parcel that you're rezoning.
Yeah.
The 137 is all one tract at this time.
So it is listed as that parcel, but it's only a portion of that parcel number.
Okay.
And the remaining part of that parcel is already IL, is what you're saying?
It's already zoned. The truck stop is actually a B1 business, and this parcel lays behind that and also lays to the east of that. And there's a truck wash over there as well.
Okay, any other questions?
Where does it stop? Like, will it ever stop? I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm at, like, where does it stop?
Maybe, did you want to sign in to speak on this
Like, I'm just,
case?
yeah, I mean, how much more do I have to?
She'll need to
sign
sign in and come up to the mic,
Yeah.
though, if she wants to address the council. Maybe we'll need to get your name signed in if you want to address the council on this, and you'll come up to the microphone.
Do I address him?
No, you would address the council.
You're right there. You're right there.
If you just tell, she can write your name down.
It's Stephanie Arnold.
Yeah, Stephanie Arnold.
And give your address to me.
224 East Lower River Drive in Lazy River North.
224 East Laurel Drive.
224
Lazy River.
East Lower River.
Okay.
I don't know, we've never been to one of these before, but I just know that they're, like, the warehouses are everywhere. Where does it stop? I married my husband 25 years ago, and I know things change, but I'm like blown away. We drive through the countryside, and I'm like, the countryside is gone. And I feel like we need to do a GoFundMe for Tamara Lakes. Her backyard is a lake. Did you say $60,000?
So far, but if we get another warehouse, then it's gonna be more, and I'm worried because the runoff, if I understand it correctly, where the new structure is, there's a runoff that usually goes to Salt River, and if that's blocked, then it's gonna be even worse. We get a warehouse across
Ma'am,
from,
I'm so sorry, Ms. Lights, if you want to address, we'll need you to come up as well.
Yeah, you can talk afterwards.
Okay, where does it stop? Like, when is this gonna stop? Like, we can't get up and down 44 hardly now at all. It's just crazy, the traffic. I mean, and I want that small town feel. I'm like, are we gonna have to move to LaGrange for this? It's unbelievable. We go out and there's like this beautiful, what he was talking about off 245. It's gorgeous when you get out there for the, when you go towards Bardstown, but there's gonna be a warehouse now going into that. It's already off to the right. We had neighbors that move out to try to get to the country out there from our subdivision, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a freaking warehouse, multiple warehouses. And I don't know what you all can do, but I hate that we're going to, in our retirement years, have to move to another county to try to get into a small county feel. The warehouses are unbelievable. They're unsightly. They don't even try to paint them to even look like something that blends in to the rest of the backdrop. It's just, it blows me away. I don't want to be Little Louisville. I grew up in Louisville, and I don't want to live in Little Louisville. I don't know what you all can do. I've heard the word Flynn Brothers. I don't know who the Flynn Brothers are. I don't know if I can do anything about it, but that's what I'm hearing, and maybe that's just being thrown around. These people come in and they don't live in our community, and they've trashed our community. And this is not political for me. I mean, I'm a conservative that's registered Democrat, so this is not political for me. I don't care about any of that. I'm saddened about what's happened. And I never thought we would ever move out of Bullitt County, but we may be moving out of Bullitt County because you all too?
Thank you.
Nothing else.
Thank you.
Does this gentleman want to address the council as well? You'll have to sign in though.
He already did.
He's already did. He's
Wayne.
Wayne Downey, Rams Run. Question is, how's it gonna impact the traffic on I-65 going northbound, southbound? Because I know early in the morning, I don't even take 65 because it's so backed up for people trying to get on 480 now. Okay, I travel to Preston all the way to get in. It's a lot quicker. So you got also all the traffic going on 480 getting off the expressway. How's that gonna impact that as well? People also trying to make turns. How many accidents have already happened in that area there since they built all those warehouses and trying to build more warehouses? Us as a community, we're tired of it. We don't want to see it no more. It's impacting the environment. It's impacting our way of life. It's impacting our community. Come on, y'all.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? Okay, this is favorable from planning and zoning.
Yes, and here's the situation you find yourselves in though. This meets the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan labels this property as industrial. So if the council did not want to approve it, there needs to be findings of fact based on the comprehensive plan that would say that this shouldn't happen, because like I said, this meets the comprehensive plan. This is a spot that was designated for industrial. But it's still up to the council, but you'll have to make findings of fact to support
If you didn't, yeah.
turning it down.
So what are the size warehouses that are gonna be built on this property?
What size of the warehouses are going to be built on the property?
This, as I said, this particular site you're looking at, possibly this site will be at 200,000 square feet, which is
Just for the one parcel or for both?
the parcel that we're zoning alone. And it would be, like I say, it's about 200,000, maybe 220. If you're familiar with the building, the Hut Group, which is the next building up, 480, it's about that size. This one's gonna be a little longer and narrower. It will not be on the road. It will probably be 75 to 100 feet back because of the way the configuration goes in for the Love's truck stop. You have to go in and turn. This road will go straight and go further back.
May I ask, is the warehouse gonna be on this property here or this property, the triangled?
Right here, side. If I'm reading it upside down.
No, I mean, because my question was, is these two tracks don't adjoin?
Actually, the warehouse will be, let's see if I can get this for you real quick.
This is 40,
480.
480.
All right. Your warehouse is going to be, this is the hut group. It's gotta be in this area here.
Okay, thank you.
We have a tenant already for it, is it like?
No.
No tenant.
No.
How many of these warehouses, sir, is?
Maybe
Sorry.
speaking over here,
Sorry.
sorry about that. All right, so I entertain a motion.
Well, the council can table it, well, let's see, when was this one read? This one was just from March, right? This hearing was in March. The council could table it if the council wants to go back and study the comprehensive plan.
Is any of this,
That's one suggestion, but
is any of this property gonna have to be raised up?
This property's out of the flood zone.
it's what
The
I'm
very
saying.
rear of the property will be in the flood zone. That's not what you're zoning tonight, has nothing to do with it. That's, the property in the very back flows next to the Salt River. It's in a, probably part of it's in a floodway which you cannot build on and raise out of. Actually, the very rear of this property, there's probably will be detention basins of some sort put in there that will hold some of the water off of the proposed development.
Okay, once again, the motion,
I'd
entertain
like,
a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to table it
I'll second that.
to the next meeting.
Okay, Bonnie, you second it, table it to
Yes.
the next meeting? First and second, the table to the next meeting, all in favor to table it to the next meeting? Signal by hand raise, there's 3 over there, 2 over here, Mike, is there no?
I don't see why we can't vote on it now, I'll say no.
Okay, no. Okay, it goes with table for the very next meeting.
Which would be?
We have a 60-day timeframe, and we're still within that.
April
April 11th.
Thank you.
6:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, if anyone plans to come back for that, but I'm gonna assume since we have a public hearing tonight, there won't be any more signing in to talk on it unless the council has questions for anyone. Am I right about that, you all?
Yes.
Okay, just so that we're clear about that.
Okay, thank you. Next,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just to educate me real quick.
Yeah.
We're new out here, 12, 13 years, so it's planning and zoning, they plan this stuff, they approve it, but then it has to come to you guys for approval?
A quick, brief explanation on that, sir, is we have a joint planning commission that represents the county and every city in Bullitt County. Every city puts in like $1 a year, whatever they spend on it. The county mostly funds it. We have one representative, every city has one representative, the county has 5 representatives. So the way it has to work is when someone wants their property rezoned, they file an application with the planning commission. The planning commission holds a public hearing. They don't decide anything on a zoning. They can only give it a favorable or an unfavorable recommendation. It's up to the legislative body to actually approve that or disapprove that. So that's what you watched happen tonight is we received an unfavorable recommendation and that was upheld by the body. So it's a 2-step process.
Ultimately, though, it's you all that.
It's always your legislative body that has the final say on zoning. Now, site plan approval, though, does not come to a city or the county. That is done at the planning commission. It stops there.
But explain to them that you have to have a good reason to go against what
Oh,
their
yeah,
recommendation
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
You can't
there-
just say no because we don't want to.
There's a statutory scheme.
Findings of fact.
You have to find a
Exactly.
reason why you didn't do
So
it.
who overrides you guys?
No, courts. If we get sued
If
over
somebody
our,
takes it to
it would
court,
be a
But you have to
circuit
have
court.
findings of facts.
I love
Yeah.
it here and love hearing you all, and I hope you all say this community that we moved into when I retired out of the Navy for that particular reason. You know, flying over this, I fly every week, and just last week I heard a person talk about flying over Bullitt County now, and it looks like,
Yeah.
and that's what they said. And this was a person that lived out in the East End and said, wow, they're running that city. And I was thinking, wow. And how it's got to this point, it just blows my mind. It sounds like Mike is in favor of all this stuff, but the rest of you kind of aren't. And I'm just curious of what's his rationale behind all this stuff of ruining Chippewa?
Well, you can talk to him after the meeting, I guess, if you want to. We're going off our agenda. All right, next, we're gonna go with, second reading.
We only got 3 the last time.
Moving right along, second reading of summary of ordinance 022047.
Mayor, Tina, can I see your ordinance on this one too? I brought, 037, let me see, make sure I got the right one. Okay. Summary of ordinance number 022-047. An ordinance, do we need to wait a minute?
Wait just a second.
Okay.
I realize y'all are leaving. We're gonna wait till you leave, so be quiet. Thank you for coming, y'all who are leaving.
Just out of curiosity, I know several of us are still here because we were under the impression that there was still some open discussion on the issue on 245.
There isn't. It's already been done by the county.
And in brief explanation on that particular issue, that property, to my understanding, has been zoned industrial for a number of years. The city did not rezone that property industrial. The city did annex the property. My understanding also, because I was not at the planning commission meeting, is I understand though that the plan that was presented does comply with the tourism overlay. So, but it's been zoned industrial for a number of years. The city did not rezone that property
We
industrial.
didn't cause that or anything.
Okay, so those of us who have an issue with that, we need to take that up in court? Is that what we need?
Well, I can't give you legal advice, man, but, okay.
You're saying tonight that it's already approved and it's a go.
There's nothing more for the city to
There's
do.
nothing more for the city to
site
do.
plan was approved by the planning commission. There's nothing, that does not come back to this body for approval.
No, we didn't vote for
Like
it.
the gentleman said earlier that it was supposed to be a bourbon trail. I thought that's what was approved.
Well, there is a tourism I feel like I'm giving you all a brief rundown of the planning and zoning ordinance, but I love it. There's a tourism overlay for that area, and I think it goes, I don't want to misquote it, I think it goes maybe 500 feet in from 245 on both sides between 65 and the county line, between Bullitt and Nelson County, I'm trying to remember. But it sets out it doesn't change zoning, so if something is already zoned industrial, the overlay doesn't change that, but then they have to comply with certain design standards. Again, my understanding, it's a very detailed thing, if y'all wanted to look that up, there's a lot of detail to that. But my understanding is the plan they presented and that was approved meets that requirement. I wasn't at that meeting, I'm so sorry, I wasn't at that meeting. The planning commission.
The planning
and
commission.
zoning commission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the site thing you're talking about and like this? Like, what's the difference?
Dwayne,
between-
can you answer that?
Well, Dwayne's on the Board of Adjustments. I don't know if he was at that meeting either, but no, it's okay. So a site plan, like if your property is already zoned industrial and you say, I want to put a warehouse here, I'm going to draw it out, show the berms, they present that as a site plan for approval, and they can say, well, how many trees are you going to have? What do the berms look like? How tall are they? It's the design plan. How many parking spaces, all of that.
This industrial thing happened.
Yeah, it happened a long time ago.
Yes, ma'am. It's been zoned industrial for a long, long time. And so the city did not do that.
We didn't do that.
A long time.
1968.
Long time.
The place first, the Claremont distillery that was gonna be built, was that a part of that same zoning?
I'm not familiar with what,
The gentleman that passed away that had the money that was gonna build the distillery, have you been out there, Claremont Distillery, the sign out there? I live right out over there.
I'm not sure if I think she's talking about a different property.
No, I'm not, I'm talking about the.
I can't answer that question for you. I
Yeah, we
can't
don't have
personally
that
answer that
answer.
question.
No.
I don't,
We
we
wouldn't
don't
be
know
part of
that.
that.
We don't have any control of
We
that.
don't, that wasn't in our talks or anything. All right, well, let's move on.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
That's
Took over.
That's okay. I encourage crowd participation. All right, next, it's going to be second reading of ordinance amending the personnel and pay rate classification plan.
Summary of ordinance number 022-047. I'm sorry, you told me to wait? Okay, sorry. Summary of ordinance number 022-047, an ordinance amending ordinance 019-283 and adopting a personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers for the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky. In summary, Section 1 sets forth that Section 2 is amended to add the position of Parks and Recreation Administrator. Section 2 sets forth that Section 9 is amended to add the job description and education requirements for the position of Parks and Recreation Administrator. Section 3 sets forth that Section 7 is amended to add the following provision. Premium pay of $13 per hour shall be added for every eligible employee pursuant to Resolution 22-13 with an end date of September 30th, 2022. Section 4 sets forth the severability clause. Section 5 sets forth publication requirement. Section 6 sets forth the repealer clause.
This had to be done for the ARPA fund?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion.
Motion by Stacy, let me see if Stacy Klein motion. Second, Kenny? Okay, Kenny is second. Those in favor, signify by hand raised.
Discussion.
Discussion?
Okay, yeah, discussion, thank you.
Mike, do you wanna go first, or?
I'll go ahead, I'm still
Okay.
reading.
I'm in the bathroom, y'all discuss. I don't know.
I'll wait for you, Mayor.
Do we take a brief recess?
Can we take a brief?
Sure.
Okay, hold on, let me
You want me to make it for you?
let's do it, yeah. Brief, just a 5-minute break. 5-minute break for bathroom. Remember, my timing, y'all.
5 minutes.
There you go.
Well, that's not a spot. I mean, I know they're gonna show something like that. I just didn't like it. Hey, look, at least they put a couple restaurants back, at least be something for the citizens. You know what I'm saying? How did they make that? Engineer or whatever?
Hey, her.
Oh, you did? Oh, the one, okay, the one, okay, yeah, that's got woman's property, so he's like, oh, yeah. I can bring you some signs as well, what can I get? Okay. Okay. I got a mail sheet. Are you gonna be here at the end of the meeting though? But you had no plans to shave, don't lie. I was gonna talk to Russell, I think he left. Oh, Dwight, I love you, you couldn't embarrass me. He takes it very He takes it very personally, I'll tell you though, this one though with Woolridge and Peter, they're gonna have to learn that one. I don't think. It's surrounded by industrial districts, all in behind it, I don't know. Oh, we better get in so that we can control what. I wouldn't say that if I I've done signs in my gym if you're hanging around.
God is good, you're still here. God is good.
Can I get 1 minute to read the oath?
Yeah?
It's just whenever it makes sense for me to.
Okay.
Calm it down.
Did you find out? What's wrong with him? Have we? Bad shape. Yeah, something's He wants to read something that takes about 1 minute, so.
I'm not. I think you're joking.
what you got, bud? I thought I saw you go through the intersection. Did you go through the intersection going north Sunday? Yeah. I thought
Hey,
so.
there's your mic.
That's what I said, you were yakking.
First District Magistrate has approached, me, Chair, wants to read something for about a minute here. So if you would, Dennis Mitchell, go ahead.
All right.
Oh, wait, let me
I'm
call the meeting
I'm
back.
Dennis Mitchell.
We're out of recess. Back.
Okay. I got a letter and everything from the Loretta Mother House. That's from the 20 Sisters. And they asked me to bring this up. I just got this today. It said, one of them said, Dear Honorable Mitchell, we have learned that a big box distributor center is being contemplated next to the fairgrounds at the entrance of Kentucky 245 across from the gas station. This center, it would be ugly at the entrance of section 245 that is dedicated as a tourism corridor in Bullitt County land plan. We drive on 245 and we have valued Burnham and the areas for many years. We encourage you to keep 245 a tourism corridor as it meant to diversify the Bullitt County economic and job protection, at least some natural beauty in Bullitt County, and fill in some of the industrial zones that you already have allowed. And this is signed by 20 of the sisters and everything. And I just got this today and they asked me to
Thank you for letting
present
us
that
know.
to y'all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for letting us know.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right, so we're ready to go back to that. Oh, you've already read it?
Oh, I read it.
Okay, okay.
Trying to make me
Okay.
do extra work.
Okay. All right, so what we need to entertain a motion?
Oh, there was discussion, but we had
Discussion. Okay, any further, oh, yeah, Lisa was gonna discuss, that's right, wait for it.
I was gonna discuss section 3. It said set forth that section 7 is amended to add the following provisions, that the premium pay of $13 per hour shall be added to every employee. But we are talking about in section 1, the Parks and Recreation Administrator. That is not gonna include that individual because they have.
They're not even hired yet, absolutely. So we're using one ordinance to amend the pay scale classification, but it's for a couple different issues. So that does not pertain back to the Recreation Director.
Okay, all right, so, and is the Recreation Parks Director gonna be in the admin department or the Public Works Department? I thought we had that set aside for the Public Works Department.
Public work.
Public Works.
Public
Well,
Works.
Public work.
Then why would that person be reporting back to the city clerk? And there is no salary on page number 2. Salary range is blank. The only thing it states that civil service is included. So before this is passed, I'm not for sure what the figure's supposed to be for this job.
Yeah, we're strike through city clerk, but, public works superintendent. Probably should be the mayor, we'll put it to mayor.
I would say, yeah.
The mayor?
Mayor, yeah, cause he's like a department head,
So do we know what the salary is? If we don't know what the salary is,
We
I'd like to
discussed that,
table it.
We discussed that, I
I
thought.
thought we did have a number on there. Tanya, you remember if we had a number for that?
I think it's somewhere around $69,000.
That's what I thought you said, 69, yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay.
And
That's maximum pay.
that's the max, so I would like, until we get this in black and white, to table it till the next meeting, if that's, I'd like to make a motion to table it until we get a figure on that.
Oh,
Wait,
well,
hang on. Do we already have a motion and a second on the floor, then we start discussion? So to do.
I made a motion and Kenny seconded.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they'd have to
those
pull
would have to be
those.
withdrawn to entertain a new motion until that motion's voted on.
Y'all wanna stay where you're at on your motions?
I don't wanna withdraw it, do you, Kenny?
Well, that, we probably need to, well, not probably, we need to specify then in the motion that pay range, since it's not
Yeah.
on there. we
Now, do
just
y'all
specify-
agree that we can put the pay range in there and then take off city clerk to mayor? Is that
Or
okay?
y'all wanna set it right now
What
in
do
your
you wanna
motion?
do? It start at
Put it in the
55 to
motion.
69?
Yes, yeah. Wanna do that? You make a motion with that? Okay. Write them notes in there, and then I guess,
What was that low
Stacy.
figure?
55 to 69.
and then Stacy and Kenny can make
And
that
then the
motion
mayor,
with, those
it was
changes.
added the position.
Withdraw your second,
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion.
withdraw the original motion, then make your new
I'll
motion.
withdraw my original motion, and then I'd like to make a new motion that for section 1, we make the, the administrator for Park and Rec for 55,000 to 69,000.
69.
And they report to the mayor.
55 to 69, okay.
Second that.
Same motion, right, correct, Kenny? Okay, second then. All right, all in favor?
Wait just a second.
Oh,
Did-
any further discussion? Yeah, I think you needed some.
Did you withdraw yours
I
entirely?
withdraw my first one.
Yes.
She did.
First one, so does that need a second?
Right
He
there, she
did.
did.
We
Yeah, he,
Second?
yeah.
He
Okay.
seconded, yeah, this is first and second.
So now it's at 55 to 69, reports to the mayor.
Yes.
And is this employee going to be considered an hourly employee, a salaried employee, or what?
It would be salary.
Well, we have the description written
I
up.
think we
Is
already
that-
have that description written.
we have
for
that?
don't we? You got that
Should be
anywhere?
attached.
It should
Yeah.
be
It's
attached to it.
and it's
But I can
not.
remember when we first discussed this in the budget meetings last year, is the whole department was pretty much set up as a different department under themselves. And then when it came back, that came out and everything was put under Public Works.
Well, because they can work with Public Works in the
Yeah,
park
they
and
work
everything.
with park, the, ball fields and all that stuff, so.
But I think they should report to the mayor. I think that's the
I
smart
think
thing
they
to do.
should, yeah.
Do we have any time frame as to when we're gonna hire this individual, though our park is so far behind schedule?
It'll have to go to civil service.
Yeah, civil service to answer those questions, yeah. We'll work with Brenda on that. Put the ad, yeah.
Interview questions have to be.
We needed this first before you do any of that, so, okay, good. Well, we'll work on that, so. Okay.
Yes, we have a motion and a second
Okay,
on the floor.
all in favor? Let me see, Kenny, Deb's in favor, and, Stacy, Mike, and Bonnie, okay, those against?
I'm just
Please.
I'm gonna abstain.
You're gonna abstain, okay. All right, it passes. Planning and zoning update, I didn't get, I know of none from Mayor Joe Som. Board of Adjustments. Okay, I know of none of our mans, thank you. Sign-in speakers have been done. Department reports, I know of it none, except, Lane, do you have anything? Did you need to? Oh, about,
Is he talking about the same thing you mentioned?
Yes.
Tammy? Okay, yes.
yeah. Okay, executive session? Okay. All right, no, I know of any, no other department reports. Ms. Burden, go ahead.
As a citizen and resident
Yeah.
of Shepherdsville, I came in City Hall last week just to see the new facility. I've never been in it, and I got to see the ladies in the office work, and they had about a couple of minutes that they could talk to me, and I would ask them a couple questions, but I could tell they were overwhelmed, and I appreciate them taking the time to let me take a tour.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, the council knows of that and aware of that, and they've approved 2 people. This council approved 2 people for them in the admin department, so thank you for the accolades, and thank you for the council for recognizing that too. Okay, now we'll go with, council comments. Bonnie?
Yep. I want to, donate this flag set that I bought for our procession to the police department. And Officer Shank, I would like for you to accept these for your police
There
department.
you go. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Shank. Mike Hibbert, you got anything?
No, not tonight.
Okay, Stacy, you got anything?
I'm gonna just say this out loud because these people asked me to say this, but I know Tom's gone. So I'll call Tom tomorrow and let him know this, but
Sure.
I got a call on the underpasses to have the walls cleaned, especially the one on over at Salt River.
Mhm.
And then I also got a call about a residence at 134 North Peak, in the Point, about the blacktop, and I will contact Tom to
Okay.
talk to him about that tomorrow. And then I just wanted to tell Jeff Shank how sorry I was.
Yes,
And your
thank you.
prayers are with us.
Thank you.
Mayor, could I come back?
Yes, sir.
Reclaim 2 minutes of my time?
Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead, sir.
I'm timing you.
I just want to say something to Officer Shank too, because
Yes.
at the event the other day, he expressed his opinion and how much it affects him personally as a family, you know,
Yes.
that this happened. And I know he's questioned himself about making the right decision. And I don't think you should ever question yourself. You can look at Dash as a tool, you can look at him as a dog, but I would much rather see this happen than it be you.
Yes, amen.
So, that's my comment there. Don't ever second guess that. You did the right thing. And the other thing is, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned a situation on Beach Grove Road with the road and the drainage and everything.
Yeah.
And I've pursued that, different agencies. So right now, just as an upgrade, I'm to the point where the state will accept responsibility for the road, and between the state and the county and our city, none of them will accept responsibility for the drainage or the sidewalk. So I'm getting ready to move on. I won't be stopped there, so, but it's not gonna be easy, I think, but I'll pursue it.
Thank you for your endeavor. Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Thank you. Ms. Deb?
Anything on CSX? And next week will be Monday. I'll need to schedule a meeting for budgets.
Yeah, that's a
First,
great idea.
first or second week of April, right? Yeah, we've got that coming up, yeah. We'll send an email out here in the next few days or something.
Not on
right?
Wednesday
Yeah.
nights.
Yeah, not on Wednesday though, yeah.
Not on Tuesday.
Okay, so it'll be Monday or Thursday? Yeah.
If you want me there, maybe you don't.
If you want me, probably Thursday. She can't do it Monday, so Thursday.
And I probably don't need to be at all of them, but.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
doesn't
you don't
have
have
to
to
be
be
at them.
Thursday sounds like it works best.
All right. Yeah, let us know with email. Thank you.
All right, so, Kenny, got anything? Okay, Lisa, got anything?
Tammy, I was looking, did you make that sign visible today?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Yeah,
on the
she-
door.
Okay, we're gonna have a beautification, meeting on Wednesday the 30th at 6:30, for anybody that wants to attend. So, it's a public meeting, so anybody that wants to join, feel free.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, there is a request to go into executive session
With possible pending litigation, right? Is that what it was? Personnel issue? Okay.
Right, Mayor, sounds like we need a motion to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810 to discuss personnel.
I make a motion that we.
Second.
Okay, Debbie made the motion, she had the first motion. Was that Bonnie?
Yep.
Bonnie Enlow, second, we have a first and a second, all in favor to go in executive session? Over here's three, over here's three.
And
Okay.
then, do we need Chief to come in with us?
Chief, you need to come in with us? Okay.
I don't know, it'd be nice.
Are you sticking around?
Dr. Hartledge needs to come in.
Okay.
Tammy,
Chief, anything?
Bonnie posed a question. Can we just say, you know what, with it, deny it, don't go, and just go home?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
You know what, Mike, I can't tell you how to live your life, but.
Woo, that's some good advice right there.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's on. I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Who knows?
Thank you for being here tonight, I appreciate it.
So, how can I put this succinctly? On the one hand, Perry Cook is the right guy to do what he does. On the other hand, Perry has to get in line behind Mike Miller and myself, or he's flying without top cover. And he's gonna get shot down. Does that summarize it?
All righty. We are back. I know it.
I'm glad I ate a bowl of cereal before I came tonight. I knew it was gonna be a lot.
We're gonna keep them at 5.
Yeah, we'll have more. Yeah, yeah.
I need a motion to return.
Okay, entertain a motion to return. Kenny? Mike?
Motion.
So, Mike got in there on that?
No, that's a totally different issue. Totally different issue.
Okay, there's a first and a second. All in favor to return? Three.
He's got a question.
Okay, three over here, three over here. All six is back. Yes.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I thought we would have two other resolutions ready for this meeting that I made 2 weeks ago. Can you tell me where the progress is on those?
What was that one about?
Yes.
Oh, about
It was
COVID, about the
earmarking the money.
earmarking the money. Yeah, yeah. What was the other one?
One for roads, one for drainage.
Yeah, so it's two, it'll be
Oh,
two.
yeah, it'll be two. Yeah, we'll get it for the
I
next
just
one.
thought they were, I got the
You're right,
impression they'd be
Mike,
ready for this.
that's on me.
Yeah,
100%.
that's on me too. Okay.
Yeah, you're right, it'll
Well,
be on
thank you.
there.
We'll get it. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Kenny?
Second.
So Mike got in there on the second one. There's a 1 and a 2, and all in favor? Carry 6-0. Thank you, visitors.
See, that's how you work together.
Mike,
Right?
you hear that?
Hey, Tammy.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, me, sir.
Oh. Sorry.
We still can't get past the Tammy issue.
Mm-hmm.